I don't even need my sign anymore.
I like your hat.
Thank you.
You're promoting trees.
I'm promoting trees.
Yay! I support that.
And today, as we get started, before I do the normal introduction, I'm first going to show that I stuck my baggage tag on the inside of the hat from the last flight. Mm-hmm. Figured that was the best place to put it where I wouldn't lose it during the flight.
I didn't know if it was a significant flight.
Yeah, and because sometimes you comment on my clean, if I have a clean cut look, occasionally, I thought I would bring in the super sweet pit bull razor that makes it all happen, folks.
Wow.
That is today's unofficial sponsor.
The secret is revealed.
Is the pit bull razor. Maybe one day I'll demonstrate it. Hey, what's up, people? Wes Smith here and Autumn Hernandez. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you could have rolled the R.
Which R?
Hernandez. Hernandez. Not even, you can't even say the H either. Hernandez.
Like churro.
I'm pedophile Mexican.
Yeah, sweet. Episode 69. And folks, it is no mistake that episode 69 has been lined up with my friend, the love advocate, Autumn Hernandez, a.k.a. Art by Autumn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few things to banter about. Well, we got a lot of things to banter about. But one thing I want to throw up here real quick before we get going down the lane too far is, and it's on there, folks, Bloom, New Year's Eve 2019, San Diego party. I know you got nothing else to do for New Year's Eve. I know that nobody's soliciting you on Facebook ads or Instagram ads or just trying to walk outside your house with your Uggs on and get a coffee ads. But there's my solicitation. No, it's going to be an awesome party. There's 5 rooms, 3 of San Diego's top-notch underground promoters. There are many, but the 3 that are with this that are awesome, and I've played for them several times, are Enter the Tech. They're one of the promoters. Mm-hmm. And Into Hoodie. That's with a DA. And they're so underground, they have no social media presence. You can't find them.
Do they wear hoodies?
They're awesome. They're awesome. And shout out Julia and company. And then Mind Fruit, who I think is the newer of the 3. But the 3 of them are getting together to throw this 5-room extravaganza. This is going to be top notch. So if you don't live in San Diego, get yourself a ticket. An airline ticket first, and then go buy your ticket. Bloom, New Year's Eve, not to be confused with NYC. Yeah. And the picture will look just like that one that we have displayed. And if you're listening to this later, because you've got about 25 days to find it, then, Bloom New Year's Eve. All right, awesome. So let me get rid of that thing. See how that works? Isn't that awesome? We're testing out things today, folks. We got a new mic in here, so hopefully it's nice and sweet and clear from both of us. I realized from the last 68 episodes that I probably should be micing this a little bit better.
Got it right on 69.
Finally did it.
Mm-hmm. Nice move.
All right, so real quick, the way I know Autumn is because she has a studio across the hall from mine. I make music and bother people with noise occasionally, but usually just in the headphones, so not that much. And Autumn paints. But you do other art stuff too, but would you consider yourself a painter?
That's one of my main outlets of creation is painting.
That's how you make the money.
Yes.
It's painting.
Most of the money comes from painting.
All right. Not that ours is about money.
Not all of it.
But just saying, like that's, and we're going to get into what she does with her art to make money. Because, she's going to be super famous one day.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. The hustle, the art, all the things, it's going to work out.
It's about the love.
But give your rundown of yourself. Give the Autumn intro, aside from mine.
The Autumn intro. I'm all about love. Love is my message, my mission, why I'm here alive on planet Earth. If you want just like random stats or statistics or details, like I love to skateboard. As you put in the post, I have a little kid's bike size for an 8-year-old that has hearts all over it. I love to be active, run. Yoga is one of my favorite things. I moved from Michigan to come out to be in the SoCal weather and opportunity here.
How long ago was that again?
5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still here.
You're the most frequent bomb guest on this show.
Yeah.
Is that the right term for it?
Bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drop a love bomb in here.
You're the Variety Show love bomber.
I am.
Oh!
I want a business card with that on it.
We can do it. Yeah.
I love how a business card makes you feel legitimate.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the easiest thing to do. You can just go online and order for like $10 and have like 100 of these cards. It's just say it. If it's printed and on a card and you have it, it somehow legitimizes you. Whatever you do.
It does.
Which I actually... You want to say something?
I wanted to say, before we go bananas down the rabbit hole.
Oh, I'm already down there.
On caffeine. Was there anything else you would like to, like maybe perhaps direct people, you know, some folks, they see this now, some listen later or see it later.
Mm-hmm.
But like, where could they go find, you know, I think Instagram, that's your hot spot, or maybe not. What's the spots?
Instagram, it's all my social media is Art by Autumn. Instagram has the most recent updates on it. You know, almost daily posts or art I've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
But then my actual website, artbyautumn.com, is where you can actually like look at art for sale. You know, like it's actually portfolio. I do mugs. You can purchase them through there. See my like quotes on different art services that I do.
Per square foot mural painting, for example.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's sweet. She just, well, I say she, talking to you, but yes, you just finished, while I was in Mexico, you finished the mural on my bar wall. I need to have a party and have people come see that.
You do?
Yeah.
The art reveal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm not going to show any pictures of it at all today. I'm just going to build up the suspense.
I like that.
My thought was maybe invite all the San Diego-based Variety Show guests to come over and check it out. And it would be a random group of people.
That would be a really
That is for sure. We'll have people from like 21 years old to like 65.
Perfect.
And from all different kinds of shit.
Age means
It occurred
nothing.
to me the other day that maybe the whole reason I named it Variety Show was to, one day have a party that's just got all this randomness.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Who knows what kind of creative collaboration we could all do together.
I love it when people get together from all different kinds of places and then end up doing, or just inspiration, whatever.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's it with how to find you. Hey, yo, how to find me. Almost forgot that. Wes. Well, it's important because I've cleaned up a lot of stuff. So, wessmith.com. You could also hit itswessmithyo.com. That's still very relevant. Either one of those. They go to the same place. And then, I like to play around with domain names and stuff. But those are the two main ones. Everything is now pretty aggregated there. It's all pretty much the same for all my social media. But, yeah, working on that. All kinds of free stuff there. Working on getting like the 500 plus songs and projects that I have credits on over the years.
Wow.
All the stuff, like, basically I'm going to start putting everything that's, like, it's all on Spotify and all that kind of stuff too, but I'm going to start putting it on YouTube, whatever, but I'm going to start putting it, like, for people who like to have the actual songs, especially DJs or project kits, whatever. I'm going to start putting all the prior year stuff on there for free. So, like, at the end of 2018, I'll have everything I've ever done from 2018 back to the beginning of time there for free.
Wow.
All you gotta do is follow me on like Twitter or YouTube or some shit. That's it.
That's it.
So either the value of your tweet is like 10 grand, or the value of my 20 some odd years of music projects is like 6 cents. Probably somewhere in between.
I think so.
Somewhere in
That's
between.
a good range.
Let's go somewhere between 6 cents and 10 grand. Down with it. All right, that's it for where to find us. Okay, we're done, folks. We'll see you. No, back to the business cards. You're talking physical business cards.
Yeah, physical business
Do you have
cards.
some?
I do. You want me to show you one?
Yeah, please.
Which is, I don't know if I have one of the ones I actually was, what sparked me saying it legitimizes you is that I also do menu boards. And so that's one of my actual main ways I make money. But with menu boards, I realized when I was giving, this is just a super simple card. But when I was giving someone a love card.
It's probably a good idea for it to be super simple.
So like this was my art card, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a painter. I do love art. I do love paintings, that sort of thing. Well, when I'm telling someone that they it's a nice business and a cafe, and they
Yeah.
want, a really clean cut menu board handwritten, and I hand them that. They're like, what's this chick going to do?
Yeah.
Right? So this is super simple.
This is interesting. So it's almost like a card for the specific thing.
Exactly.
Check that out.
I mean, it's super simple.
Get on at Pacific Beach Restaurants.
However, now I'm legit.
Yeah.
It actually increased my confidence in speaking to business owners that I have this to give them as opposed to this.
That's such a funny thing that people do that.
It's ridiculous.
Do you think there's an age mark where that matters? Like an age break point where they're more impressed? Because if I'm like I have them too, but if I'm at like a nightclub or something, people are like, dude, what's that?
When you give them a card?
Yeah, they're just like, whatever, dude. Just,
Well,
it's all more like, where's Facebook, where's Instagram? Like, they don't care,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily an age thing as opposed to your intent and what your intent with giving the card. So like, I want to make money. I want to give you a menu board that you're going to be stoked on, and it's going to actually make you make more money because it's going to be beautiful and people are going to want to buy the food that's on the menu board.
Yeah.
So that's why my intent is to help you make money and to help me make money.
Right. You're drawing them in. I want to make money too. Just in case
anyone
anyone listening thinks I don't want to get paid.
Not like, hey, here's my Instagram handle. I'm not going to give you that for this.
Yeah.
But this has a little bit more of a different intention.
All right.
So this is also like, I love you, you're loved, you're valuable.
Yeah.
Right, the front of it. But then, hey, if you want to follow some love, here's my info.
It's almost like business in the front, party in the back, Like the mullet.
Yeah, that's a good look. Just like that.
I thought I'd throw that out because you have some days in the hair design world too.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So I do have a hairy existence.
Speaking of getting paid, let's go back to that one for a second because we've had some good conversation about getting paid. Like earlier, we were talking about, is it appropriate? And this is not just us. This topic has come up with me a lot during my years, and I see it posted on social media at least once a month to the point where I can't post my advice about it anymore. But it's getting paid with things other than good old, for the crypto people, cash, money, fiat currency, US dollars. Weed, drugs, whatever. The barter system. Yeah. Food at a restaurant, credits places. What do you think?
What do I think about that?
Are you pretty much always cash? I am. I'm always dollars. I don't want the rest.
I feel like I have a couple different little views on that, but I feel like it's almost devaluing the work that you're doing to be like, oh, hey, yeah, I just want to like you used weed as an example. Like, hey, can I just give you a bag of weed in exchange for that service? No, this is an actual business. So I think it's...
Especially your price per square foot, that'd be a shit ton of weed.
Right, right. I'd have all San Diego stone.
You'd fill up this room.
So I feel like it's also like, maybe more so happens to artists and musicians and people who are in the creative field and, who their work is almost seen at a different level or playing scale than like business people who like, you have to give them money. You're not going to offer that to someone in a different profession. Like, here's an invoice.
Right. It's understood you're going to pay that in, cash or credit or whatever, but the intent will be to collect US dollars in some way for an invoice. Versus like, could you imagine if an invoice said net 30 and gave payment options? Like QuickBooks Online gave some payment options.
Payment options.
Like dollars, Bitcoin, weed.
I like this. Okay, this is a little tangent off of that, but I have actually thought about somehow, I don't know how I would document it to make it official, but I've actually thought about like, when I sell a mug, maybe you get $2 off if you're going to promise me you're going to go out and give 10 hugs. I'll give you a discount if I can somehow have you vouch.
Now, do you need them to validate the hugs?
I don't know.
Or you don't care?
This is
just going on
not
trust.
A thoroughly thought out idea, but I somehow want to, like my whole underlying purpose in life is to spread love. So with if I can be inspiring other people to do the same and just get this huge ripple effect going, you know, like, you're going to purchase my art, you know, you want a little off? How much is it? How many hugs is $1 worth to you? Let me go promote that, you know, and like start spreading it more.
Maybe you could be like, I'll give you the discount on good faith, but, you know, trust, but then just, you know, take a little selfie and post that jam and tag me.
Social media, make it a social media thing. Sure,
that's a cool game. I like that. And it's like, even if everybody listening runs off with your idea, it doesn't matter because it's your unique art, so it really doesn't matter. It's not like just, you know, you're not just asking them to repost like a, you know, whatever their quote of the day. You know, it's a hug. It works on the mission. That's awesome.
It's a hug. That's the whole love thing, and I try not to have these feelings about like someone's going to take my idea, or people ask, can I share your photos or your art? And I'm like, spread the love. Mm-hmm. That is the goal. That's the goal.
By the way, to you and everyone else, like, I now, no matter which direction I come into my home, I have to think about love because of the mural. There's actually a great placement for it. Yeah, because now no matter whether I go to cook, well, if I come in the front door, back door, sliding glass doors, bedroom, bathroom, or from the nook, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to pass by that vibrancy. It's cool. I like it. I'm glad we were able to work that out and get that done.
I'm glad you like it. I didn't know. I felt like it was right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It had to be right for you.
Yeah.
In your space.
It's great. And the trees, the city line, all that cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. It inspired me to want to scale it up, like just as the general concept for a rad mural.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, imagine seeing that huge scale on the side of a building.
Oh, it could easily
with like a rad quote.
It could easily do that.
Right? It's very SoCal.
Yeah.
It's simple but unique, colorful. You know, it'd be easy for me to actually scale it up.
Yeah.
You know, and anyways.
And my mom's totally gonna love the charcoal pole because I had told her. So I saw that idea. I mentioned it on here one other time. Someone had a whole wall with that black chalkboard paint, so people could leave their message. Well, you saw it at the party we went to. That whatever that was, Halloweenish a year or so ago, whatever it was. Yeah, and so that was the plan. But then my mom was like, I don't know if you want a whole black wall. You know? And my mom's cool, but she's probably right. Like, maybe I didn't want a whole black wall, you know, in that space. So just having the pole is great, including box of chalk.
Well,
awesome.
It can't leave you hanging.
No, you can't leave people hanging. So, what else we got going down? Let's talk about the, I don't know. You got, let's go with the murals. We're going to get to the mugs for sure. Because I show these all the time in here, you know? People are always sketched out, like, is it clean? Because we'll go to put a beer in it.
No, let's just talk about mugs for a second.
But they're empty this time, so we can do this. Let's talk about mugs.
And this is not finished.
Okay.
But I wanted to show you.
For anybody, oh shit! Just went and pinched my logo. Oh damn! It's mug day. Look at this shit. And Autumn did all these, but I have to throw this one up here too. This is a new one, real quick. Oh, look at those. Sweet. So if you've ever watched this before or listened, you've probably heard us talk about mugs, and this is the mug maker that's here today. Forgot to mention that we always show on here. We're going to talk about it. Sweet. Let me give a quick shout out to this one. So this H12-1 Racing is, I've been, about the last month, like I told you, I've been back and forth to Mexico doing all this Baja 1000 racing stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool. That's their bug. That's their team bug. So shout out to Dennis Hollenbeck for that. He's like, I'll call him the team captain. I don't know if he has an official title or how they do that, but he's the guy that has been racing the car originally, and there's a lot of people involved, but I don't know all the rest of the people. But anyway, they race real quick. No, please. This is a shirt from them. Yeah, they race because I was just there, and I told them I'd give a shout out. That's their shirt, and that's actually the bug. That's the VW bug that they race.
Sweet.
So it's a stock VW bug. There's a class called Class 11. I won't get into all of it, but that Class 11 is essentially a stock Volkswagen bug, 1600 cc. Like, it can top speed is like 60 miles. Someone told me like up to 80, but I'm thinking, I don't know. I used to have one. I think maybe like top speed might be like 55, maybe 75 if there's my F-150 pushing it from the back, or pulling it. But anyway, very cool cars. He's a great guy. I got to meet his family, and he also his racing is a sponsorship thing in conjunction with shelter. I think that's the right term for battered women, women with issues, family issues, need a place to go, basically, called Casa Esperanza. It's down there in Ensenada. So if anybody's into that sort of thing, go check it out, Casa Esperanza. You can read all about it. But back to you and your mugs. Talk about them. Tell me what's up. This is so special, dude. I never had a mug. I know, and it's black inside.
Right? I have to do the bottom of that.
Oh, I totally needed one.
You did need one. The mugs are my little babies.
That is so what's up.
It is. There's actually 2 more in the making, but I just brought one in.
I'm putting my coffee in it now. Is it safe?
It's safe.
Let's talk about why. Let's talk about why I asked if it's safe. Because that time you were painting the insides of the bottom when I first met you. By the way, folks, Autumn and I have known each other about 2 years now. Maybe 2 years.
2 years? Yeah.
We've definitely had studio spaces for at least 2 years. Yeah. Near each other. But I used to have 2 spaces, and so the one we're sitting in now, folks, I used to be on the other side, and she's on this side. There's like a hallway that goes around, like a circle bar. So no one ever comes. It's like separated, like there's a left hall and the right hall.
Yeah,
People
I know.
don't mix.
You're on the left side.
People don't mix.
Well.
Unless they go to the bathroom and say hello at the bathroom, they don't mix. Anyway, I moved over this way, and then I would see her all the time. And I was like, what's up? So here we are.
We're doing a mug transfer.
We've drank far too much whiskey together before, among other things. So here we are.
Now coffee.
Now coffee. Yeah, we're both. Is that on the wagon or off the wagon? Off the wagon. No, if you fall off the wagon, it means you start doing whatever it is again, right? Like if someone's like, "Oh, how's that non-smoking going?" You're like, "Oh, I fell off the wagon."
Yeah,
that means you started smoking, right?
Started, yeah.
So we're still on the wagon.
On the wagon.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To love.
Coffee without Jameson. Anyway, so the mugs. You used to paint the insides. That's a great place to start. So what happened to that?
Well, I haven't given up hope on that.
Okay.
But I did. So I wanted love on all sides of it. So, when you actually get your drink, even before you put anything in it, it would be cool to look down and see a message for yourself.
Yes.
So that was my intent with that. But now there's a message on the bottom instead. I don't know, how can people see this?
This one or this one. I moved it. I'm looking at the website for a second because we got some people commenting in here. I want to give them a little shout out. But here, you can see now the different cameras. This one is you right here.
You are love.
If you hold it here. Oh, that's the bottom.
Face.
Oh, that's in front of mine. Awesome. Yeah, cover my face.
I just want to cover your face.
Don't cover your face. Cover my face.
Cover me.
They see enough of my shit.
So I just wanted love everywhere. And I started putting it on the inside. However, I would have to put a resin on top of it, because when you'd wash it, the paint would come up, which would be no bueno. So I was putting a resin on it. But then I don't know safety with resin and drinking off the resin, and if you heat it and put like boiling hot water, because
maybe
generally
someone
it's for
will watch this that
coffee
knows.
Or tea,
Yeah.
So I didn't want any risk. Whereas this is like this is approved safe to drink out of with no paint on.
Yeah, like that comes from the mug maker.
Correct.
Or whatever.
Correct.
Right.
Which, so I just didn't want to risk anybody's health, so I opted out of that. However, one day when I scale up, I will get messages printed down at the bottom of the mug.
Okay. As
well as on the inside. I love when a message is in the interior part of the rim.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's totally a cool idea. I just remember when I first saw it and I was like, what are you doing?
Love on all sides of it.
Uh-oh.
So, when
now I'm just getting us some feedback because I got to turn the speakers off. There you go, Wes. People, we got all kinds of crazy stuff going on in here. When Autumn first came into my studio one day, she was like, I think the first thing you said was, "You are technology."
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a lot going on in here.
Just like I am love. Oh, it's overwhelming walking in here.
Yeah.
I have to acclimate to it all. I'm very sensitive creature.
Yeah, it explains why you pop in and out, like photobomb
Overload.
style. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of just have to like.
Because what people can't see, like you can see that's all they can see watching this.
Which is like the simplest,
yeah,
plainest
what they
part
can't
of the whole
see
space.
is all this shit in here.
I have no
I
idea.
need to do a 360 photo. Folks, is ceiling. It's the only space left.
It is.
Yeah, and it's even being overtaken. Yeah.
I
Fortunately, I have it. What is this, 10-foot ceiling, you think?
I like this metal structure in this space. I want that.
I did that.
I want that.
That was a lesson for Burning Man.
Did you
Look at all our
create
colors. That's special for you today.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
abstract.
just... Yeah, it's my computer going crazy, so we're just doing some abstract art on top of our faces. We're pushing the limits of technology today, folks, because we're testing out new mics. We're testing out new bandwidth on the computer. Everything Autumn doesn't give a shit about.
At all.
I decided to test it all out on her show.
Perfect.
It's awesome, though.
Perfect.
So, okay, so that's the inside of the mug. Then and the overall mug, kind of, I guess. How often do you do these kind of custom joints?
Very rarely. That was just for you.
Oh, I thought you solved the full wrap, but no, the cup's white and the background's white, so it's okay.
Correct. So the issue with the full wrap is that the handle has to stick out of the press. Like so you put the mug in a heat press, and so I actually print a photograph of the image that's going on the mug. It's on the special printer.
Yeah.
You wrap it around, and then the ink, it's a gel ink, actually melts into the surface of the ceramic.
Okay.
So when it goes into this press, the handle has to stick out because the handle can't get heated up. Like, that's how you pick it up. This heats up to 385 degrees Fahrenheit, this whole thing. So in order for it to melt, so you just physically, for the mug press to shut, there's just this much space that just cannot be printed on. Now, if I got them printed a different way, which eventually...
Like someone else printing them?
Someone else, a mass produce. I have a company out of wherever. I don't want to necessarily say China, but hey, some of my favorite things are from China. This was made there, so whatever. Dude, not that my phone's my favorite.
Everything touches there.
My brother made that comment. He's like, what do you have against China?
Yeah.
Why can't it be made in China?
A lot of people don't realize, and I'm probably even wrong, but I was going to say a lot of people don't realize that for more than 30 years, easily, for more than 30 years, America has worked with, and American businesses have worked with people in China and people in India, both. No doubt. Outsourcing, somehow it became this terrible word.
I know.
It's been going on since before most people that come on the show were born. And it's like, I don't know, somehow it became a terrible word. It's probably just the way it's handled, perhaps, or the way it's marketed. But the only other point I'll make about that is so many people, because I've been to both those countries for DJing stuff and music.
Awesome.
Yeah, and also some of my tech work that I've done over the years. And and I have friends in both. And in both of those countries, like, the people that do a lot of the work, like, really benefit from the money. Like, really, it's life-changing. So, like, I'm totally okay with it.
Right.
And it's why I love to see people like yourself working out your own hustle that's unique to you, right? Because you can't outsource the vibe of the mug to China. You could get it made there or wherever, right? But you can't outsource the vibe of the content to somewhere else.
Right.
That comes from the artist.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
All right. That's my points on... That's my points on shipping all the jobs somewhere else.
Right. And hey, China's still part of planet Earth.
Yeah.
And I have that mentality of we're all one and we're all in this together. So, I have nothing against China. I think it's I think it's just a thought in my head that I've never actually really honed in on.
So are they going to be able to solve that? Like, that's what we're talking about, folks. For everybody who's deep into mug making, not mean mugging, mug making. That's what we're trying to solve, is that little gap right there. And they'll be able to do that, you think? The full wrap.
Yeah, so this is a specific kind of printing that I do on the mugs.
Okay.
It's called sublimation.
Okay.
So with sublimation printing, because I'm putting it in a heat press, I have limitations. Whereas if a manufacturer is making it, the whole mug could be colored, the whole thing, it would just get created with full color.
Is it because they have different tools, or they don't do sublimation? They would do a different kind of
correct.
application?
It would not be sublimation.
Oh.
It would be a whole... you imagine all the rad mugs you've seen in your life, and some of them are a full crazy design or a weird shape, but that would be something getting custom, an exact like mold made for it. Like it'd be a whole nother branch off that is an expense I've looked into, but I just haven't.
But that's when you blow up.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Blow up and
seriously mass producing them.
Yeah.
Which at that point, I won't necessarily be able to custom make the bottom of them. Like the dream world is, I won't have enough time to do that, and that's going to get printed.
Of course.
Right.
But that's when, I tell you, who needs a new business model is Victoria's Secret.
What do they have got going wrong?
Well, they're kind of about love. Well, I was listening to this podcast the other day. This is a total tangent, but it makes a lot of sense, and I'm just going to lump their message around the use of love. I'm just going to leave it at that. But the problem they're having, I'm going to give some quick numbers that I heard from podcasts. I'm just going to assume the podcast information was correct. It was not a bunch of jokers, like me, just talking about shit. It was NPR people or something. And anyway, they had something like Victoria's Secret used to have like 35% or something of the U.S. market for women's underwear. Mm-hmm. They categorized it as a total. And then now it's like 24 or 23%. So that's significant loss in market share. And they were assessing like why. And the assessment was because they don't have like their like messaging is even though they carry a wide variety, I guess, of sizes and whatever, perhaps, I don't know, but let's just say they do. The only thing they market is like the fantasy body, and that's always been their thing, right? It's always the supermodels. Like you've never ever seen I'm going to call it average person. To me, that's a beautiful person, but you've never seen what most people would say, average sidewalk person. Like you've never seen that ever in your life in anything remotely related to Victoria's Secret. I would agree, and that's what they were saying, and that's why, because now they're getting kickback, because what used to be kind of your more like Humpy Dumpy Hanes, like your generalized underwear makers, men, women, everything, kids that no one cared about, those folks started grabbing on and saying, well, hey, if the lingerie people aren't going to put plus size models or transgender models or whatever, that we have these populations that need to be served, we'll do it. And so they started doing it, and that's the theory, is that that's chewed up their market. But they were saying, they're the largest, in terms of underwear, they're the largest number, they have the largest number of actual brick and mortar stores of any underwear maker in the world. Wow. Which is a huge advantage. And so the reason I was joking, I got to make sure I don't pick up the wrong mug and turn that shit over on the computer. So why I was not kidding was like, dude, you can totally put these right in there and they might be able to make up their couple percent of market share.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. Because this or something like it would be something that's not, it's just very neutral, It doesn't make you feel like shit when you walk in the place and are like, dude, I can't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting how that gives you the reversed effect. Like you see these beautiful girls, and so instead of being like, oh, I'm going to be beautiful if I wear that, it's this effect.
It's my assumption that's what it does to a lot of women.
That's not, well,
consciously or subconsciously, yeah.
What's the line? Like, don't read beauty magazines, they're going to make you feel uglier.
Yeah.
Look at, and working at a salon, right?
Yeah.
As I work at a salon, I see women flipping through magazines all day long and not being stoked because they see these unachievable women in magazines.
Yeah. It occurred to me like probably in my late 20s that all that shit was designed to get men to talk about it. Make women feel bad, I guess, or like make women think, if they didn't feel bad about it, or just be like, this is bullshit, then like look at it and be like, well, if I get it, maybe I can be that, right? So that's one idea. And then, but for dudes, it's like, if you grow up and that's like around your house and you're a kid, like it was for me, like, I don't know, my sister, I have sisters, so mom, and have that stuff. It's mailed to them all the time, like it or not, right? It's there at some point. You see it and you're a kid, like you grow up and that's what you think women are.
Right.
You don't know.
Right.
You're like 11. 13.
Right.
You don't, you know?
Exactly.
Like, women are like your sister and this catalog. Right? Which is not a good message.
No.
For, you know, men. Either.
Right. So then women knowing this, and they're like, oh, this is what men expect out of me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with it. Yeah. It could be. But I want you to, you know, maybe you don't want it, but it'd be cool if someone like that, anyway, picked up your mugs. Or your things, whatever, one day. It'd be awesome. Because the message is kind of...
Victoria's Secret. Yeah, I intend... I don't know Victoria's Secret's, like, values necessarily.
Yeah, they probably suck, but trash that. What would you do with the mugs?
But I know trash that, but like just in my mind, you know, like if I work with companies, because part of my business model that I'm like really honing in on is, and I say this in like a positive way, is just like be piggybacking off of pre-existing businesses.
Yeah.
Like your business, you're doing this, let me add love.
Yeah.
Here you are, let me add to what you're doing. Let me add value to your business. Let me add love, right? Because that's what everything needs more of.
And you can do that because I don't want to pigeonhole the mug thing, but they're awesome and they obviously you do well with them. But that message is awesome because you can do that with all kinds of artistic medium. It's not just mugs.
Correct.
You're not a mug maker.
Correct.
Only.
No, it's just one random outlet. But, you know, aside from Victoria's Secret, I've been thinking about, which this is just kind of random, but like a business like, you know, Cafe Gratitude?
Yes.
Have you heard of that?
Yes.
So I am very in alignment with their values.
Oh,
like I've looked up, you know, the whole
Which
cafe is dedicated to love. Like love is one of the underlying roots of their whole business.
Okay.
You know, just to be an employee there.
Okay.
How there's this couple that runs the whole business and how they hire people.
Okay. You
know, like just the main like underlying, like before even customers are in there, what goes into the food, the employees. It's a very loving, great.
Is there more than one of them?
Yeah, there's a few.
Okay. So it's not like Walmart.
It's not like Walmart. However,
even though neither of us have ever worked there, but whatever.
No, but somewhere like that, I've actually been. I mean, not to put this out there, but yeah, I've been thinking about like connecting with them and doing some grateful mugs.
Yeah.
For a place that's a restaurant.
Right.
You know, that teams up, this is their message, you know, Cafe Gratitude. You know, so like collaborating with a company like that I'm totally on board with what they're doing. I support the food. I support it in its entirety. You know, it's like...
Yeah, I think it's a great approach because you'll be happy with the overall sort of channel that your art is going out to the world and the love message is going out to the world, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's got to be brutal if you're. It has not happened to me often, but once or twice it's happened where like music has been used for some silly purpose, you know, or just people that I just wouldn't have at a barbecue. It's like the nicest way I
like that way of saying
barbecue test. Yeah, dude, I worked with a long time ago. That used to be his thing. He'd be like, "Did they pass the barbecue test?" And I'd be like, "Probably not." He'd be like, "Then move on." You know, that was great. He's like, "There's billions of people in the world, dude." He's like, "If they don't pass the barbecue test, just move on. You don't have to be mad at them. You got to hate them. No. You got to maybe another day it come around again. Different door opens.
Right.
Like, but if you don't pass the barbecue test, don't do it. Cool.
That's good.
It saved me a lot of time in my day.
No, wait, that makes me think about the
Food?
West Gauntlet.
With the wings? Yeah.
To be on the show.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Like
it was to be on the show, and then what was the other thing?
Well, no, I thought it was just, to be your friend or something. You know, like you got to be like, are you a runner? Do you bike?
Oh, it was one of the things.
You know, like like you got to be.
One of these respectable activities.
Right, you got to be
Artist,
doing something.
Musician.
To earn the seat.
Runner. You know, surf, even though I'm horrible, but yeah, surf. Skate. I'm even worse at skating because, as you know, your skateboard that you gifted me is the first time I ever skated in my life.
And that is such a beautiful board.
So much fun.
You have no idea how nice of a board that is to have your first skating experience.
If anybody wants to laugh and watch me skate, that's local or whatever, you come to San Diego on vacation, hit me up and let's go skate the boardwalk. We have an absolutely beautiful boardwalk
Same,
in Pacific
hit me
Beach.
up.
Yeah,
I'll go skate.
or Autumn. We'll all go skate.
We'll all go
Be a
skate.
skate party.
Oh, I love skateboarding.
I try to get anybody that comes on here that's from out of town to go do it because it's just a great way to see the boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, running's cool too, but I realize not everybody is down with that, and it although everyone can do it, it's not like everyone's going to do it for 8 miles. So it's like, for me, that's a really cool way to see places, but it's not really cool for everybody. Right. But skateboarding, especially the longboards, especially the one you gave me, like pretty much anybody, unless you've got some real balance issues that you already know about, pretty much anybody can get going.
Totally.
Within a few minutes and have some fun.
Exactly.
Not hurt themselves.
Fun, that's the goal.
Yeah, totally.
But just as a side note about running, I have to thank you because you advocating running all the time and talking about it really inspired me to get running more.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I have to just say it's because of you. Hell yeah. That I actively run more, and just hearing you be like, yeah, I ran 16 miles today. What? You ran down to OB back? What? That just
I'm turning into an animal.
That blows my mind. I have for someone...
It blows my mind.
It just blows my mind. And that's super inspiring, right? Seeing someone do something that's just them. Yeah. So it's not even... It's even different than if you're like, oh yeah, I bench press this much. Yeah. Nothing against being strong and bench pressing.
All exercise is good.
But that's another thing. It's not just you.
Different, for sure.
There's something to me
There's some team element. You definitely have to be the one that lifts the weight, but there's always spotting and this and that.
I just love physical activity where it's just yourself. Yeah. It's just
running
you against you.
Like mountain biking or biking can be that way too, but you're still, and I love that too, but although I don't do it that much, but I did some racing once. That was a lot of fun. But you still got the machine. There's things that can go wrong that aren't related to you as a human body. Yeah, running, I just sort of fell into it that way. It's not like, I'm still blown away when I do a long run. And I'm like, how did I do that?
How?
I know how I did it, but obviously I know for me how I did it in the years it took to get to that point. But it's not like I'm a health freak. It's not like I'm 100% all the time. I'm still cooking pizzas and, I try to make more of my own stuff, to just learn more about. But that's just more general health. It's not like I'm following some sort of 12-month year-round runner's regimen, crazy program from Runner's World. In fact, I don't read any of that shit. Well, I learn it all from people who run, that I've run with. That's how I get all the.
Well, and I don't think it's necessarily necessary.
Yeah, there are some good tips. So, to be fair to the big magazines, yeah, there's some good things you go out there and find. If you want to do the 8-week nutrition thing before a big run or a big, I have definitely learned from Runner's World and some of those things. So I'll give shout out for that. But a lot of the stuff and just reading through all the ads just drives me nuts. Right. It's crazy. So, yeah. But anyway, that's also 10 plus years of doing it, I guess. So you get to the point with anything where you kind of don't pay too much attention to the periodicals or the whatever, the blogs, the websites, the videos. Right. The 6 million ways we can be infused these days. But yeah, that's awesome that you got inspired with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope it inspires a lot of other people. I know it's not for everybody, but it can be for most anybody.
Right, and I think part of the key is that you just go at your own pace.
100%. Yeah.
So it's so simple. You say not for everyone. If something slightly faster than a walk. You know what I mean? It can almost even be a walk if you say I'm on a run.
Yeah, when I say run, I'm talking jog, anything.
Right. It's I can, I'm sure I could never keep up with you, but if I go on a little, there's a little route that I do that's 5.5, 6 miles. And I go at a pretty slow pace, but I can maintain it. I don't know how to answer that.
How long does it take you to do a 6 mile loop? An hour?
Yeah, well, it's hard because I do that and then I walk a few blocks.
You get distracted by the puppies?
Well, no, I do get distracted by the puppies. How did you know? But no, I'll do the loop and then I always like to walk a few blocks. Okay. So it's I'll do it and then I always get back within an hour. But
Yeah, so we probably actually run close to the same pace for general running.
Pretty slow though. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't like people pass me all the time.
Well, it's like a 10-minute mile. Oh, I get passed all the time too.
I mean,
I used to worry about it.
I don't care at all because I have nothing to do with them. Good for them and the speed they're going. You know, but like for me to maintain it and enjoy myself, I like to go at a slower pace. Besides when I once in a while, like every so many runs, I like to do just the random sporadic run where it's 2 blocks up from here to that, you're just sprinting full speed.
Yeah.
You know, and just like random intervals of
What's different
speed increase.
and feels different when you're done.
Totally. And you never feel that maximum feeling of a sprint when you're just maintaining a slow pace.
Never, because your heart rate goes above 140.
And I love that feeling. So it's like I love that feeling of like sprinting so fast till you can't.
It's like me on this coffee you brought.
Such a good feeling.
Hey, for anybody that wants to dig into running, go. The marathon training. I've used several different ones, and when I say marathon training, you don't have to train for a marathon. They're just great running coaches. People that train for marathons know how to train people for everything because you can't do a marathon unless you can't be a marathon coach. Like it's not just like you're that. Like you have to help people get from couch to something. So they all have 5K, 10K, half marathon, etc. and on. But Brooks Hansen is the one I use. Hansen Brooks, rather. Hansen brothers are two like really well-renowned marathon coaches and long-distance runner coaches, like elite level, Olympians, all that stuff.
Oh wow!
From the States, and then Brooks is the shoe company, Brooks. So way back, they like got their heads together and took the 20 some odd years of those brothers coaching at some university in the Midwest, I think, and combined that with maybe a little organization from Brooks or some sponsorship or whatever it was. Yeah. And they put together like these really detailed books and manuals that are like 200 pages. And yeah, I've read them. You don't have to read all that, but I'm just giving people like, that's my preferred one because people will ask often like, where'd you learn to do this? Where'd you learn to do that? And so that is my guide to all of it nowadays. Yeah. And it's, and on the pace thing, I was going to tell you because it may surprise a lot of people. My fastest marathon was just short of 4 hours. So I was right about 9 minutes, a little over that because 9:09 is a 4-hour marathon. So I was right about 9:13. I missed it by a hair. I was so upset. That's a lot of work. And for me, that's pushing it for 26.2 miles.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Thank you.
Seriously.
And then my fastest 5K, much shorter, like 3.2 miles, 3.1 miles, something like that, was around 7 minutes, 15 second pace, significantly faster.
Yeah.
But what I was going to tell you was probably some of the, you're just naturally doing it, but from what I've read in my own experience, that high you get from those sprints, well, that's part of all these training programs. That's why I mentioned it, because the Hansen Brooks one, it you may be running, depending on whether you're advanced or whatever beginner, you may be running 3, 4, 5 days a week, all maybe up to 7 days when you get closer to the event date, like over the 16-week period. But they in particular mix it all up with these, so like for me, for example, even though I'm going to run that marathon, like let's say I want to run it at a 9-minute, 30-second pace, like somewhere 4.5 hours, somewhere in there, then I am gonna have a lot of runs every week. I'm gonna have runs that are close to my 5K pace, 7.5 minutes. I'm exhausted, right? The difference is what you do is you run them. You end up running like 800 meters at that pace, like 7:30, and then you walk for like 30 seconds or a quarter mile, and then you run another 800, and you'll do like 12 of those 800s. So I'll end up putting 8 miles down, but in those types of legs. And you get that high over and over and over, and you're just spent. And those are actually way harder on me. I get back to the house, and I'm like, peace out, folks.
Right.
Like, I can't even pick up the phone. I can't even do the smartphone shuffle. I'm like, yeah. But I didn't know if you're aware of that. But that makes marathon training so much more fun. Because every day isn't like all these miles of like this pace. It gets boring.
It does.
Yeah. But anyway. My longest is 50K. I'm going to do another one maybe in March next year. I got to get rocking.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's awesome. Hopefully it inspires all kinds of people. You inspire me. That's why you're here. That's why you have a mural on my wall.
Yeah, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, when I saw draft 1, I thought, cool, I should go somewhere with it, right? Just trust the art, right? That's me, you know? Like I hope people do with music. It's just like, dude, just click on it. Listen to it, you know? Give it a shot. That's it. You never know what you might like.
You never know.
Yeah. So that's what I've seen all your stuff, and it's always different. But anyway, so then I saw it, and then I saw when I just got home yesterday, the first time I saw the finish, what you thought was finished. And I walked in, I was like, oh, it didn't change much except for the word on the corner. And then but I was like, that's cool. And then I walked around the corner, I was like, oh shit! Like look at all the whole thing, like it like been, you know, like a new facade on top of that background.
Correct.
It was really cool. Yeah. And even the corner is cool because the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, you know, like trying to get in your head a little bit. And I was like, okay, so you walk in and it's like, this is a simple message, but it's also a simple message from every direction. And then you're kind of like, cool, that's neat. You know, the word love on a wall with lots of cool colors. That looks awesome. But then you're like, where does it go? And then you kind of go around the corner and you're like, oh.
I struggled.
Yeah, you're like, they painted the whole wall.
Right. And you know what I realize about creating and making art is that every single moment as the creator is a decision. Every single moment you're creating is a decision up to the artist. What to do. We're every single second. And so, you know, I kind of was trying to understand myself more because I can often be indecisive or just easygoing, like just not care. And I'm like, well, it's because when I'm creating, I'm so concentrated on decisions. The whole time I'm creating, I'm making decisions. So when I'm out of that, I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll have Thai food. I'll have a burrito. I don't care. You know, it's like I just spent hours deciding and painting and choosing if that yellow is going to go there or there. It's going to be green. Like
it's all your outside of my work firing.
It's wild. So when I was doing that mural, like just being like, how is this love going to be oriented? I can't even tell you how many, like, is it going to be cursive, diagonal from corner to corner? Is it going to be straight across? Is it going to be in the bottom? Is it going to be white? Is it going to be black? Is there going to be an outline? You know, it's just like...
It's a million choices.
Infinite.
Yeah.
You know?
And I saw all your colors sitting there when I came back the first time, and I was like, I don't know how, like... Yeah, whatever, man. It's just like... I was like, I'm not saying anything, because I didn't have anything to say, really. I just saw all the colors and supplies and shit, and I was like, whatever. I was like, I don't care. I just left the plastic down. I was like, I'm going to go to Mexico again. I'm out of here. I'm not going to be around for this.
Figured it didn't matter.
Well, and I never like to rush anybody, artists, or be rushed, you know?
Oh,
everyone's got their way to do things. People do remixes and stuff for me, and I'm like, never like, they're like, when's the deadline? I'm like, whenever, dude. Because I can't, you know, like, you know, some people like deadlines. Most don't. Even the ones that ask for them are kind of usually just trying to be professional. You know, to like realize that they're dealing with business people or something. Like that's their sense of the engagement. But yeah, I'm usually like, whatever.
I'm the same with art.
And if they don't get it in by the time we need the project to go out, then we'll do something else with it. You know, it's not going to go to waste.
Right.
Just might have to move along with a particular project and then find another way to do that. Yeah, that kind of thing. Mugs. Anything else about mugs?
Mugs. It's the holiday season, so they're a perfect gift.
Where could people go buy a mug if they wanted to do that?
So physical locations, we sell them at my salon, which is in Pacific Beach. It's called Belly Capelli Hair Studio.
It's on Garnett, the one on Garnett.
On Garnett, yeah, just a couple blocks off the beach. So we sell them there. And then I also have them at Brick and Bell, which is the coffee we're drinking.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Shout out Brick and Bell.
Shout out Brick and Bell.
Unofficial sponsor.
So I do have mugs there, and then they're at this cute little shop in Coronado called Adorn.
Okay.
And it's like a super like cute gifty shop there as well.
Like to that downtown area, I guess.
Yeah, it's right on like the main strip of Coronado.
Yep.
And then online at Art by Autumn, you know, there's the selection of all of them because in each.
So
you're
of those shipping
shops,
them. I don't know. Maybe you've always been doing that, but you ship them too.
I ship them. Yeah.
Sweet.
Get orders. Yeah, just a note about making mugs.
100%.
2 notes. And money.
2 notes.
Just to connect the art with money, right? Yeah. Because they're supporting my life.
Yeah, 100%.
And it should. You know, money is an important tool, right? To make more mugs, I need more money.
Gotta live.
And it's really nice to make money while you sleep. That's one of my most delicious ways, you know, like to wake up and get a notification like, oh, someone just ordered 10 mugs online.
Yeah.
Stoked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's great to have that online space that people can be at while I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
And they can shop and find the love that they want. And I can wake up and be like, oh, there's someone wants these mugs. They want to give them out as Christmas gifts. Cool. Now I'll be in my little studio, package them and mail them out. Yeah,
yeah. And I think, well, interestingly, too, not necessarily the reason for having you here today because we're friends, but just I do find it interesting that to me, like if someone wanted to know, like, hey, is this artist like making shit while I'm buying the mug off the website? Just know that she's like grinding in here every day, making shit. You know, so even if you're not getting it from her in person or whatever, it's like those bottoms are hand painted, yo.
They are.
And stuff, you know. So at least at this point, right?
At this point.
Anything else about mugs?
Just as the comment about at this point, because eventually they are going to scale up, and I can't be hand making.
Yeah.
So all of these ones, I believe, are going to be like collectibles.
Yeah, they are
super valuable.
That's why I got two in a growing collection at home.
Right, like in my mind, I'm like, these are going to be like in a like glass thing at an art gallery someday, where it's like, oh my gosh, that was one of the first ones she ever made. You know,
get in line, people with your own head on a mug.
That's a special one.
That's what's up. Can't wait till the bottom gets done.
Yeah, I know. You're going to have to give up the mug for that to happen.
I will. Yeah, sweet. No doubt. That one's cool. Well, it's not like you're on here just to talk about mugs.
No?
No.
What else?
I don't know what else we got. We got so many things. Let's talk about one thing I think is interesting for creatives and creative processes. Like, are you still not drinking? Not smoking?
Nope,
none of that?
Nothing.
That's been like 3 months now.
It's been a while. It's been longer than that.
Maybe longer.
Yeah, it's been longer than that.
I drink and occasionally take a hit of weed.
You do.
I'm just saying.
Well, and I think a lot of people assume that artists do.
Yeah.
You know, very often. But I've just found that it doesn't add value to autumn and serve my highest calling. So as I've just become so honed in on being this love advocate and spreading this message of love and the confidence I want as I share it to people and the importance, I feel alcohol and drugs dilute it and actually like cloud me up a little bit, and they don't help me have the like conviction and the strength and the surety in my message.
Yeah.
So I just recognize that, and also just be like a boss businesswoman and be, I mean, I am creating and doing a lot. I can't be like half-minded.
So do you, I mean?
Like, I need to be super focused.
Let's say it's 6 months. Do you definitely feel like you just got like literally black and white, got sharper as soon as you started to cut that out, or it's progressed over 6 months, let's call it 6 months, and continues to get even better? Like, is your mind just functioning higher?
I don't think, like, when I stopped, I don't think there was just suddenly, like, the next day my life was different.
Yeah, remember what you do this.
Yeah, like, well,
what's wrong with people?
I just, it was more of like a realization of, like, I don't need this. You know, it's an unnecessary crutch. I
remember you telling me that.
I'm crutching around, but I don't have any gimp legs. Why am I crutching?
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, just the feeling. I think it's also really cool. Like, okay, so I don't have coffee very much. Yeah. Either.
Although every time I see you, you're drinking
what's
coffee.
What's going on with that? But
it's just because both of us don't drink it a lot. So,
I know.
And we live right near each other, so.
But I like to just be on pure autumn energy.
Yeah.
You know, so I recognize when I have these other, so more so I just feel more like in tune with who I am, as opposed to like suddenly I'm sharper or all these things. I'm just more like, this is autumn.
Yeah.
There's no outside influences to be like, well, is that me, or is that the alcohol drinking? Is that me, or was that the weed coming?
So,
you know,
so it sounds like you don't really it sounds like you don't. Do you allow like if you were under influence of whatever, do you allow that to be the same as you? It sounds like you separate those. It sounds like you don't feel like that's you.
I mean, it's always me.
Yeah, physically.
But you're affected by things, right? I mean,
sure.
You're affected by any stimulant or, caffeine, anything that's mind altering or physically body altering, So I guess I just like to be just autumn without these things. Even though it's still autumn with
that's
those
cool.
things.
It's a personal thing.
I
know several other people that have gone the same route. I used to drink a lot more. I certainly cut back. I never drink at home by myself or any of that kind of thing. But I do when I go out. And I like tequila, as you know already, and it's sitting on the table over there. Shout out El Jimador. But I only drink like stuff that I really like that's good, and I make sure that is the highest value time it can be when I choose to do that versus just blowing money on shots like I used to. I've been through that stuff. I get it. I understand why people do it. Right. But I agree with you. My point is not to tell people not to do it. My point is that I think it's interesting whether you reduce whatever it is that you're doing. I think it's an interesting exercise just to see how you're different, particularly if you're an artist.
Yes.
So I'm definitely not saying to do it or not to do it. Because I know you're, the past year of experimenting with that, and I think it's cool. And I have several other friends I haven't talked to as much as in depth. Certainly not on the podcast or outside of it like you, but yeah. And I think that's interesting perspective on it, And especially if you're having weird problems, depression, other stuff, get off it.
Right.
Give it a whirl at least like 3 months.
Right.
Like give it a whirl and see if it changes things. I'll tell you from the music side, I have friends that swear they are their best DJ, for example, with a few drinks, and I can swear to them that they're not. It's like, and so a lot of people, myself I used to included, a few drinks to knock the nerves off, right? And that's seems fine, right? Whatever. But what's funny is, and they'll be like, I can't DJ as well when I'm nervous. But then I've heard them play completely sober, like off everything, not just alcohol. And I know they're nervous, but I'm like, you're actually way better. Yeah, even nervous. And I think, because you might have the butterflies or you're shaking a little or whatever, that doesn't mean you're not performing as well.
Right, and
that's what I learned.
And nervousness is just excitement.
Yeah, good way to look at it.
It's the same.
Yeah,
it's legitimately the same thing. It's your whole body goes through the same things, your mind, but we just identify it as nervous. Whereas if we could just replace that and say, "I'm so excited right now."
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm shaking. I'm so excited. It's the same thing as nervous. We just tell ourselves that story of I'm nervous. Oh no, I'm anxious. And go down that as opposed to this is so exciting, which I love. But a random comment I wanted to make, just one last comment about the smoking, drinking,
I have nothing
and
to
creating.
Say. Yeah,
I just have to say this: is that I've found that my art process is a very spiritual process. And I'm often connecting with Source. I'm a very spiritual, divinely connected person. And I've found that since not partaking in either of those things, drugs, drinking, anything, I have a stronger connection and I'm more able to connect in a moment when I need it. So I will literally be painting and be like, what do I do next? I just openly ask Source, universe. And answers will come to me. Put purple there.
Yeah. Well,
that yellow line there.
I think your mind's sharper.
Right, but what is sharper? More clear? More connected? I believe we can ask questions openly.
I think it's functioning more like it's supposed to, is what I should say. Probably another way to phrase it too, but ask some brain person. Person. Hey, I think I've never been into the only drugs, quote unquote, alcohol and weed. It's the only things I've ever done, and this blows people's lids when I tell them this from the music world. They're just like, what? It's almost they never have a problem with it, but they're usually just their whole night has changed. What? I tried to do a whip it once and I didn't know how. And
A
like
what?
this, a whippet, like the canister thing.
Oh.
And so this friend of mine was like, "Have you ever done a whippet before?" I was like, "No." I was just holding it. I was like, I mean, I know what it is, so like I'm okay to like try it, but I was okay with that. But it was just really funny because I was like, "Nah, I've never done it before." He was so funny. He's like, "Give that shit back to me, man." It's just like, there's no point in this. I was like, yeah, probably not. It's just gonna make me lightheaded, right? He's like, yeah, that's it. He's like, just don't worry about it. So it was pretty funny, but yeah, that's kind of been my travels with it. So my point was just going to be that I think that all that stuff can be fun. Like I know that those two things in particular have been fun for me. The times I've done them over the years, for the most part, fun. When in moderation, and I suspect that all the other things are too for people for the reasons that they do them. And that's cool, but I still maintain that your brain was not meant to your brain was meant to function completely natural, and can be as unlocked as anything. And I know since I haven't done some of these other things, there's always the person that's like, "No, dude, this that," fine.
Correct.
But and that may be true, but that's just my opinion. Is that your brain, it's all in your brain. Your physical brain doesn't change at all, no matter what you put in your body. Like the brain itself, like right. So it's all there already. How to unlock it could be completely or extremely difficult. Is my point. Without certain drugs, alcohol, etc. That I believe, but it's all in there. So there's probably ways to unlock it. Especially as a creative, right? Because interesting. I don't know if you like. Have you ever heard like some super famous musicians? And I'll just use I'll take the Beatles or the Doors or someone like that, who openly at points has talked about their drug years and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Quite often they'll say like way later, I'm not sure that really helped me, because people will attribute the amazing album of Led Zeppelin to the fact that they were on crazed drug binges or whatever.
Right.
But you'll hear them say years later, I'm not so sure that was the case, because they were the only ones that were there in the studio writing, doing the creative process with the 5 members, how it came together,
Yeah.
Like I watched a documentary on, I think it was Metallica, I think. Some really good documentaries about Metallica. And you can see like they have they were fortunate enough and or just worked it out way back in the day to have some people come and do real good footage of them in studio sessions, like serious, like real world TV style shit.
Yeah.
And like the band wasn't under the influence when they were producing some of their greatest music ever. It's clear, like watching the video.
Right.
Some of the band members were, and those dudes got kicked out because they were always causing the problems, this and that. So it's interesting. Like I don't know, I wasn't there, but I suspect, if you went back and were in the fly on the wall with Zeppelin or Beatles or whoever, where the general public thought that they were all, crazed out on whatever,
right.
LSD. My suspicion is they probably weren't when they were actually in the studio. They probably were like, most of them were probably got up early, went in, spent 18 hours in there banging out Abbey Road,
right,
and split, and then maybe the rest of the year on tour they were complete fucktards. but my guess is it's not near what people think, as is the case now with so much like social media and stuff. Right? Like everyone thinks everybody's the glossy or the Victoria's Secret model. But that's not really the case.
It's not the case.
It's not. So that's going well. No plans to... So it's good. It's working. And you don't feel like you need to re-engage.
I don't need to re-engage. I'm not against any of it. Like, I'm not trying to promote that for anybody. I just... I'm not either. It's a personal choice that feels aligned with...
Yeah.
It feels aligned with who I am and the level that I want to thrive at.
Yeah.
Like the autumn love, that's the professional artist that's going and spreading love on such a massive scale. And she's not like taking breaks the whole time and smoking bowls and getting wasted out of bars.
Right.
That's not her.
That's definitely not
She's
you.
like a boss. She's in the studio. She's doing a podcast with someone across the hall, right? She's making she's doing the work and putting that in. She's not like doing those activities. So I just feel like the level I want to function at requires me to just cut those activities out, which allows more space for me to do more love spreading and more business oriented things, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So it's just,
Totally.
you know, you have to match the level you want to be at. You know, you can't be doing the things on a frequency that's lower than where you want to be.
Totally.
If I want to be $1 million artist, I have to act as if.
Yeah, and for you that doesn't include certain things, but that's
For
cool.
myself.
And I agree that my message isn't any of it's good or bad or whatever. I think it's I've seen more of it, more conversations around people taking a break, etc. And I have yet to see anybody who it's hurt by taking a break. And some folks like myself maybe continue less, but in more moderation, and perhaps still the thought that it might be better off just with none of it. But certainly changed my ways a bit, it would really upset me when I would miss a training run. That's what really started to like bother me. You know,
from having a hangover.
I just go out 2 drinks Wednesday night. You know, nice. I don't have normal work hours.
Right.
You know, so you don't either. So you know what it is. It's different to manage that shit when you work. I've worked before 9 to 5. I think you have too. And you know where someone else makes your schedule. Let's put it that way. Even if it's not 9 to 5. And I know what that's like. And there's a piece I didn't realize to that was that I was afraid, you know, I wanted to perform well, so I made sure I was on time all the time, did my thing, you know, left, etc. But when you're not, you know, it's been years since I've had that. So like, you know, I want to go out and hear house music on a Wednesday night, you know, and there's an awesome house party here, you know, the one we went to with Dance Classic with Joe P and all those guys. And two of my favorite drinks, sometimes at least at 3, whatever, start having fun talking to somebody, there's 4. Next thing you know, Thursday morning, 6-mile run, I'll go do it, but it's tough. And the whole time I'm telling myself, you're paying for this shit because you're stupid. You know? Yeah. So trying to fucking, for me, figure out how to, you know, hit my house music night without, you know, just don't drink.
Right.
And I do still enjoy it. That's the funny thing. I still love the music. So it's not like I need it to enjoy the music. I definitely don't. Yeah. Right.
And that time I went to that dance party you're talking about, I didn't drink.
Yeah.
I wasn't drinking.
That's because we were having a shirt contest.
I had a blast.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
You know, it was like, here's all these people dancing, and it was almost like a different heightened level of awareness to the moment, too. You know, just like...
Oh, yeah, totally.
Which is, you know...
Is it still straight edge? Is that what that's considered?
I think it's straight edge.
That's a consideration. All right. That was our self-help portion of today's show, folks. Go run and free your mind.
Totally.
Of all the shit for a month. That's cool. Let's talk about chalk painting. Can we do that? This picture.
Like
see this picture?
Art? Yeah,
I'm going to put that one up there for a minute.
Love.
Yeah. Check it out. Hopefully I don't screw up the audio, everybody. I'm pushing the button. There it goes.
The chalk is just part of the love spreading mission. And it's basically doing the same thing I'm doing with my mugs, my paintings, everything. Spreading the message of love and putting it on the sidewalk where people are going to be active and walking around. A lot of times people walk and look down at their phone. Hopefully they can catch some color underneath their phone and look at it. I love when people are running and stop, like break their stride to look at it. Oh, I get so stoked.
Me.
It's just to spread the mission to the public. It's so easily accessible. Such a cheap, I feel like it's a very cheap, efficient way to do it. It's temporary.
Inexpensive.
Very inexpensive. Yeah. I mean, it's like 5 cents a piece of chalk.
Yeah. This is regular stuff. Like someone wants to draw chalk, just gets a pack of chalk and lets their mind go. It's
so easy. Yeah. But I can't even tell you how much I love getting feedback about it. That when I'm just like an 8-year-old girl chalking love on the sidewalk. You know, and people are just like, that made my day. You know, the messages and feedback I've gotten where it's like how much it's impacted people. It keeps me going. You know, like I had no idea that this random 70-year-old man, it would help him with his wife who's going through this treatment. Or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just the randomness. I'm like, when I'm doing it, I'm just intending to spread love and heal. And I have no idea the impact after I leave.
Right. And then
which adds to
we don't get a lot of rain here, but it either wears off or goes away in a week or so. right? And then you come and do something else.
Which is part of the enjoyment of it.
I think that's a super neat medium. And I bet you, well, I know for sure that if I've been hanging out somewhere, not with you, a music thing or whatever, somewhere else, and that you aren't, and just talking and maybe describe you or something to somebody, like a lot of them have seen your art and don't, just of course wouldn't know.
Right.
You know, you tag it, but they wouldn't, unless they looked it up, wouldn't really know, and probably wouldn't associate the person anyway. It's kind of hard to do that. But yeah. So my suspicion is there's a ton of people, right? Which is like you're saying, that's fun for you. There are a ton of people who have been impacted in some way by that, and then it's temporary, it's gone, and those few people, to me, I always kind of look at it like, those few people, including myself, because I'm always running that route. Like we're the only ones that see that during that week, and then it's gone.
Right, and it was for you.
Yeah, it's almost like real world Snapchat.
Ooh.
You know how Snapchat works? Like that?
Oh.
Where it just disappears?
Yeah, I don't use it, but I know that's how it works.
Yeah. And there's others that do even more so. I don't think Snapchat does, it may not anymore. It's how it started. And then there's another one that's really popular with like teenagers. I know it because it was funded by a big cryptocurrency like technology thing. And it disappears immediately. Is it? It's like the Mission Impossible disappearing message type thing. Which
adds to its like the power of it somehow.
Well, it's why those things are so popular.
Now,
to a degree. Well, it's why like among teenagers, that particular one, I can't think of the name of it. It's Emmy something whatever, but it's super popular with like 13 to 16-year-olds, something like that. And it's a human thing. That's why I was just kind of correlating, like you're chalking, because it's the concept of that disappearing sort of in a way that gives it some specialness, right? It's not like with the technology method of it, like social media method of it, I think people assume, like I initially assumed, let's say I did, that, it's a privacy issue, right? Like teenagers want to text something, whatever it is, and have it disappear so their parents can't find it. Like that's what kind of was in my mind.
Right.
But then I realized later, and even just today, as we were talking about this, it's like, oh, well, there's kind of this other thing to it. It's like more special if it disappears. Totally. Like I shared this with my 10 friends, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
The rarity.
Yeah.
And the disappearance. It kind of reminds me of Bubbles. And there's
the bubble guy out there.
The bubble guy, and I can't even tell you how many people just stop to watch a bubble, but it's just a moment, and then it disappears. And it's just thing that comes, and you just see it and value and love it, and then it goes away. And if they just lasted forever, it would be such a different experience with bubbles. Like, it's almost the essence of why they're so great is their impermanence. It's just, you have to pause and be in that moment, because then it's going to disappear.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's just gone. It's gone, just,
that's a Buddhist thing?
Impermanence?
Yeah. I'm not Buddhist, but I've dated women that have been.
Absolutely.
Well, the only reason I actually know that frequently is because my dog that passed away, right? So when I was talking to Katie about that, the other half owner of the dog, my ex-girlfriend, she's Buddhist, and so she was telling me, because I was describing this feeling I was having. It's pretty intense, like it was an interesting day. I'm glad I did it that way, but and was there for everything, but very intense. And so as I was describing to her afterward, like it doesn't hit you until, like when you're with somebody and it's planned that they're going to pass, and you do that, and then like later you're thinking, it's like a different thing in your mind. Because I've had family members die before, stuff like that, but it's just different, and this is a dog, so you don't expect it to be. But anyway, and she was like, yes. She's like, you mean impermanence? She's like, practice up on your Buddhism, So anyway, I went and checked out a few more things to remind myself. Yeah, it's a key element there, that impermanence with life.
All of life is. Life implies death.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
And it's kind of the way it's celebrated and whatnot.
Yeah, it's impermanence.
We got deep on chalk.
Impermanence,
damn.
Yet eternal. Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would agree with you generally.
Eternal beings.
But I don't know in terms of the Buddhism part of it. I'm not a practitioner or studier of it. I'm sure a lot more people are than I know.
Which the impermanence is also linked to non-attachment.
Yes,
You know,
that was definitely
There's
part
just-
of it as I
there's
read
just
some,
no
and I think
hold
that's
on
why
to
she.
anything. It's just let all things be as they are.
Yeah, and I think that's why she was telling me that, more caring, to give me some guidance on how to
Yeah.
kind of let it,
Let
like,
it-
not internalize it too much and kind of let it be part of life.
Mhm.
It's cool. I appreciate it. It's good. I'm not going to cry on the show. I had the dogs on here once. It was
Aw.
great. He passed. Yeah. But it's been long enough where I don't cry about it anymore. He's a
You let
special little fella.
You let enough out.
Yeah. So, but the love mural helps daily to remind me. Yeah, there's a little bit of Luther in the love mural.
I should have did a little Luther
Yeah, a little
silhouette.
Luther in there, a little Luther. Maybe you come back and you can,
Maybe I will.
you know, there's room for things.
I could add some stuff.
Yeah, there's some room for things there. It doesn't have to like stop. It's not like a closed
Right.
book, you know.
It's not a
Just
closed
because I
book.
send you all the bags of weed to pay you doesn't mean. Just because I pay you in 60 kilos of weed. I know so little about marijuana that I don't even know what it costs. Like, I have no idea.
And I couldn't even tell you what 60 kilos of weed would
I have
convert
no
out to.
idea.
I have no idea either.
But after watching a lot of these drug documentaries, like, I could probably guess a little bit, I guess. But this picture that I have up here, okay, I mean, we talked about it.
Yeah.
We cannot escape the self-help element today.
No.
Why should we? It's cool.
If we help ourselves, we help the world.
That's what I'm doing.
I believe if everyone focused on themselves and loving themselves and focused on being the best version of who they are
Yeah.
and giving to themselves in whatever way they need, the world is naturally going to be healed and affected by that. And we give our best selves to the world and to others.
Yeah, said. We just close the show now.
Done.
Done. Done.
Drop the mic.
We do have a mic now, folks. We never had a mic in here before.
It's a floating mic.
Okay, well, as long as we're on that, you know, I got some non-self-help things to rock with, but as long as we are, you know, one of the coolest things you ever said to me, which I never forget, was somewhere, Walker. You'll probably remember where it was. My memory's terrible with that kind of stuff, but it was talking to me about how you used to, you know, just be walking around, see somebody, and realize the realization that you might think negative thoughts about that person.
Yeah.
And then you were telling me about this process of you turning that into just, maybe it still happens, but you just say, nope, stop, no more of that. And then let me find something positive about this person approaching. And you may or may not say hi or talk or whatever.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And I do remember that, and I thank you for that, because I think of myself as a positive person. However, I did realize more than I would like to have that there are times when I'm walking around and I'm like, you know, in my mind, it's like, dumbass smoking a cigarette. And that may be true. It's not good for them, right? That's proven. But like in my mind, it should be more like, like, you know, I really like the shoes,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Absolutely. You know? Or listen to that negative self-judgment on them and replace it. Go, okay, you say, oh, that dumbass smoking a cigarette, bless their body, may they be healthy.
Right. And, you know,
send them a blessing.
Hope them some encouragement or
send
something
them a
like
silent
that.
blessing of good energy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And yeah, I like that you said, well, you would say shoes, but you know, like, hey, I like this.
I said shoes because like it's an addiction for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm aware your space is, your shelving is dedicated.
Although today's shoes are like the shittiest pair I own. Dude, these Vans have had so many miles on them.
Vans
Do they
are
look
the
like
best.
it?
Yeah, so I think it's just a powerful tool that anyone could do, though, is just to think a positive thought about someone, and then the more you practice it, it's natural.
Totally.
And you just find yourself looking at people being like, man, they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, and you just find that good in someone, and it's not being fake or inauthentic.
No.
You know, you can actually just look at someone and be like, what do I love about this person?
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm mentioning it to you, that I appreciated that you took the time to share that with me that day, because you know, to me, in my mind, I would feel more like it was a fake thing, but no, it's not. It's just better for me, certainly, as you have said with yourself. Like, it definitely is just better for me to try to find a positive thing and roll with that, or nothing.
Or nothing.
I mean, I know it's an old adage, if you don't have anything positive to say, don't say anything at all. But that's kind of in your mind, like speaking outwardly, right? But the inward, this is different. This is your thoughts, right?
Yes.
So that old adage is great, but it still implies that you're thinking negative shit.
Right.
Just not saying it. But so what you're talking about is, let's change this to where you are going to think these things. It's fine. It's human nature. There's nothing wrong with you, but the more you try to come up with ways to redirect that, the better off you'll probably be.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And we have that power.
100%.
We have power of redirecting our thoughts with people. Like, I don't know. I don't think maybe a lot of people take advantage of that control and just let their mind run wild and go off thinking some negative, crazy thing. And that's how people get worried and anxious and stressed.
Yeah,
they allow their mind, they allow it and just let their mind go off on this crazy tangent.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you can stop it. And I just love the concept of hearing what that negative thought is and then replacing it with the opposite positive thought. It's a really simple practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just replace it with something better.
Yeah.
I'm
queuing up this picture for you here, but the music version, not quite as deep as that, but for music folks that, from my kind of side of the world, there's a producer, Wookie's pretty popular, quite popular. And, not like superstar Vegas guy yet, but maybe will be one day. But anyway, does big shows that are his own promotion and stuff. Or just had a big one in LA, which was, I think that might have been his first him headlining solo show, which if you don't know, that's a big deal for a music artist. You get to the point where you can sell out or even just get 500 people to show up and you're the headliner. It's a different kind of satisfaction, right?
Totally.
They're not all just for you because you're going to have others playing with you or whatever, but you put it together, you produce the event, blah, blah, some people help you, but you're a lot is riding on your name.
Right.
And if it sucks, it's personal. If it's great, it's personal. So he just did his first show with that in LA, and he and I correspond some here and there. But along the lines of the energy thing, I remember one of his things, which is a tip to anybody musically, is I get people that send demos all the time or promos or whatever, and there's just so much of it out there. People can't listen to all of it, And his comment was, even at his level, he's like, and he tweets this all the time. He's like, dude, just send out the damn demos. He's like, if nobody responds or they call it shit, what do you care? Send it out to someone else. Just walk and move. Don't let it, that's just one person's judgment of your art.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's right.
Right.
Nothing. It's your art. I mean, and then he was like, if you can't find anybody, out of 10, or let's just say he said 10, I'll paraphrase, but if you try 10 times with these labels to get them to pick it up, and they want you to change shit and you don't want to, or whatever, they don't even answer you, just put it out for free and go make something else. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Right. I mean, I've always given stuff away for free, but I never approached it from that direction,
right.
Where it was because of hey, I got these bangers, and now I'm all upset because how to deal with the label, and they liked them, and then something fell through, and it got delayed, and you get all this,
right?
And I just thought it was so funny, he's at different levels, and he's just like, oh, just give the shit away, make everybody happy, and move on, make something else. I was like, good on you, man.
Yeah, that's such a comforting, relaxing option.
Folks, we got self-help for art, for music. It's all centered around love today.
Everything is.
What's this jam coming up? Let me put this thing up. This is the first picture I've seen without it being a mug or
love painting.
Shot. This is next. Paintings.
So I love doing, that's what, all of the mugs.
Yeah.
Not all, 95% of the mugs start with a painting like that. And, I love to do large scale. That's how big is that piece? Almost 5 foot. Between 4 and 5 foot wide, I believe that painting is.
Looks pretty big. That's why I like the one with the couch, so people get a little perspective.
Yeah, the size perspective. Yeah. But that's what I love to do. It starts off as that. I take a photo of it, and then it gets printed and put on the mugs. So all of my mugs, are original paintings that are printed off of something big like that.
It's actually a dollhouse. Folks, folks. You're seeing that, folks. It's actually not that big.
Oh my gosh, I should contact Barbie or something that makes dollhouses and do little tiny like love paintings. Little girls would love that.
That was smooth. I'm getting good with these effects.
You are technology.
Yeah, so that's a real size couch. We established that.
But miniature is so much cuter.
Hey, complete side tangent. Now people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" I actually have a complete set of tiny objects.
I'm not surprised at all.
Would you like them? Because I'm looking for someone who would use them for something good.
Like, other than my pure enjoyment?
Yeah, that's fine too. That's fine too.
I
They're
would
in my
love-
storage, and I'm
need to look.
downsizing that stuff. It's a lot of stuff I had a long time that I
Yeah,
haven't
because the
used.
mini stuff takes up a lot of space.
Ideas fell through, whatever. But the reason I had it was because I had a time where I got obsessed with. I don't know if you've ever seen any of these videos where people take subharmonic frequencies, like people can't hear them, and they make chemicals react to the sound waves. So like you get below like 30 hertz, on a sound spectrum, and people can't hear it. You can feel it.
Okay.
Bass, right?
Okay.
And then you get even lower, you can't feel it. And a lot of things, speakers can't even generate the frequency range that low. But there are ways to do it through tone generators and so on. Anyway, there's this whole thing out there. I guarantee you're gonna go look at this one day on YouTube if you haven't already. It's like people they found ways to get these low end frequencies to activate certain chemicals. They'll either catch on fire or do various things. Yeah,
wow.
Smoke. Because the sound wave is there, you just can't see it or hear it, and so it does things. Anyway, there's a whole group of people out there that just constantly are like messing with ways to get things to do shit. One of the coolest ones is you could get like soap suds and they'll dance. They'll just do like totally random stuff, which mirrors the waveform of whatever frequency is going through it.
So rad.
So rather than just a flat tone, you can hear that, but let's assume it was flat, no pitch, nothing, and you can, and it's going. Well, now just play, for example, your favorite song, but you do a high pass, cut on it so that all the high frequencies are cut out, and you can't hear anything, but the low end of that song is playing, and the soap suds will dance around to whatever, U2 or dance music or whatever the hell you want. House music's kind of boring because it just has the only thing you're going to hear at that low level is going to be the do 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 do. So it just does that. It's kind of cool. It's still cool to watch it, but and they do it with like pins, little lightweight pins and things. You ever put your face, done one of those things at a museum?
I love those things.
They feel really cool.
Yes.
So things like that, they get these really lightweight like needles, like plastic foamy needles, and they bounce around. But they're more controlled because they're in slots. So they do this like controlled dance versus like the suds are just kind of going all over the place. So that's a 5-minute story to why I have all the miniature furniture, because I was gonna create a miniature pool party. Right? Totally makes sense. I was gonna create a miniature pool party, cabana, pool, everything, and I got everything, and I was gonna put a 12-inch subwoofer that is not real expensive, but particularly geared towards this type of thing, the low end frequency portion, and I was going to cut out the bottom of the little Ken and Barbie Mattel swimming pool and put the speaker under it and have the whole setup, and then I was going to use it for music videos.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I have it all. Like I've got miniature, for example, this was part of the collection at one time. So it's all like that scale. Little mopeds, little cabana couches, little people.
I can't wait to look through these items.
Yeah, it's a good sized box. Yeah, I got little chalices, everything for the people to hold, because it had to be a party. It's why I have like this guy. It's why I got Tupac chilling here, because I had other figures like him. They were going to be near the, kicking it in the cabana. They were performing. Anyway, maybe. All right, but I have the box of stuff. That's completely off the rails for anybody listening or watching. They're like, dude, what happened? Are they sure they're not drinking that tequila?
What happened?
Whew. Okay, wait. So the couch. The
paintings.
All right.
Yeah, I love doing large-scale paintings. It's my favorite.
So this was like, you said like 4 feet, 6 feet?
I think it's actually around 5 feet.
Okay.
It's like 5 foot by 3, maybe. I've been doing a lot of pieces around that size. I have one I'm working on that's taller than me, so that one must be 6 foot.
Where does the mural you just did for me rank in terms of size of, paintings you've done?
It's a larger one. I've done a couple murals for interiors of businesses.
Okay.
Like I did one that was like 18 foot wide.
Whoa.
By, like it was their bit, but it was more of like a businessy, logo-y mural. It was a little less fun. Like yours was fun because you just let me do whatever I wanted.
Well, there's nothing like getting paid to have fun.
It's the best.
I can tell you that.
But
I think you're getting paid in quarters, by the way. It's a whole wheelbarrow full of quarters I got to bring into the office. As you were saying.
I will receive that.
Yeah.
Large scale paintings. That's my dream case scenario is I'm just the one doing the huge, beautiful paintings that all the other things stem from. That's when I'm in my favorite, happiest artistic state is when I'm just in my studio. I'm just painting. I'm just playing with color, writing love, inspiring people with me just expressing myself.
So if somebody people can commission you to do that stuff too, then, or
totally. Which is, I have a really exciting project I'm going to work on. I have this man in Vegas. I'm going to actually go and do decorate his home. I'm going to do there's going to be 5 large paintings for each. He's building a new home, and each room he wants a large scale, that size for each room. So
wow, cool.
He's getting all of his furniture put in there. And then he's like, once the furniture's in there, he's hired. This is I haven't done anything like this. I'm really stoked about it. I'm just going to go and stay in this guy's house. He's leaving. He's just giving me X amount of time to just scope it out, make a painting for each of the rooms, and hang it up and do all of it myself. So he has a big garage I get to go paint in, which is kind of different from my creative process because sometimes pieces take a year to finish. Sometimes...
So you'll have a bit of a timeline.
Yeah, I'm going to only be able to do it for X amount of days and just have to jam out a few pieces.
Right.
But that's to me, that's like a dream case scenario to just someone be like, whatever you want to paint, whatever size, whatever colors, just make it go with each of these rooms.
Yeah. And you did an amazing job with that with my stuff as well. So people can, so I think that's a neat. Well, that's kind of what happened with mine. I was gone for 2 different weeks.
Right.
Started it, finished it.
Right.
It was cool watching it happen.
But
how often do you get to watch art come together that you buy? Never.
Right. But that was also connected to your space. If it was a canvas piece I was putting on the wall, I wouldn't have to be there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
But
you physically had to be there.
I had to be in the space to do the art. But as I was there, I realized it helps because you just vibe off the energy of the space and what does this space need? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be good for me to be in someone's home and be have furniture, have windows, have walls, and be what would complete all of this?
So you feel like you get a different vibe as an artist.
Being in the space
physically in that space.
Totally different.
Yeah.
I feel like it adds a component that you just simply could not have if I'm in my studio painting.
Yeah.
It's just totally different.
I believe it.
It is.
It's cool.
It's just being around. For music, I just want to use this guy as an example because I did this awesome yoga retreat. And do you know who East Forest is?
Nope.
He has ambient, classical, electronic, modern. He's super cool energy, but he uses a lot of nature sounds mixed with a little bit of electronic. It's very unique sounds, but he goes and does sets live, and we'll do it to a yoga. He was at this yoga retreat, and so we're outside. It was one of my coolest musical yoga experiences. We're outside. it starts thundering and lightning as we're under this tent doing yoga. And so he's overlaying sounds.
Always a good combination.
He's overlaying thunder into his soundtrack, right? He's using the moment to make the music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the moment, the energy, he's adding frog
to
sounds.
some level of improv, whatever.
Yeah, and so, but like that music couldn't have happened if he was in a studio creating. You know, like,
for sure.
Because he was using his direct, like that affected what he made. And like I feel like I can relate to that being a painter. Like I'm so affected by the space that I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, and what's going to come out of me, just as like he was in the space and he's like, oh, like cue frog, we're out in the forest, you know, like cue this thunder, it's raining. You know, like he was able to like, which is just being so present in the moment and where you're at and like just completing the environment. Yeah,
I always wonder about at a lot of the underground parties. I'm still not sure what the word underground even means with music anymore, but they're generally called that. So I'm just going to say parties that are not in a established nightclub space.
Okay.
Party rental space, you know, illegal rave, whatever you want to call it. So things over there, I'm going to call that all underground. At them, a lot of times here in San Diego, you'll see 3 or 4 painters painting live while music's going on. So my suspicion is always, and the few I've talked to, is that they'll have a different vibe,
totally.
You know, whatever goes on,
totally.
By being there listening to drum and bass or house music or whatever it is that night, right?
Definitely.
And there's always usually at least one, but a couple of them, and all the undergrounds will have and support those artists, and of course they can sell stuff while they're there, and I think it's an awesome way for people to support artists is doing that while, you know, having 6 or 7 of their things for sale while they're painting one original there. It's pretty cool. Absolutely. That's really neat. Yeah,
I love that.
And on the music side, you are starting to see more of that kind of single person performance, if you will, not just DJing, you know, replay of existing music, but this kind of putting together, you know, perhaps not playing an instrument per se and necessarily, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but using technology to almost give like a halfway experience between just playing straight live, you know, guitar, etc., typical band, traditional band, or, you know, somewhere in the middle of that and just pure DJing, you know, other songs, which is cool too. But it's just this, I've been seeing a lot more of that branching in there. And you're able to see a lot more of the person's personality, even if they're not like a trained musician, you know, because technology does allow you to, like me, allows you to make a lot of stuff, even if you're not a, you know, a schooled, you know, Juilliard, you know, composer.
That's the idea of technology.
Yeah. So I think there's a generation of people now that are, and not just by age, but let's say a decade worth of people that have been into that now that are probably starting to get to where they've really got it dialed in, maybe like this yoga retreat dude. And it's fun. It's cool.
So good.
Yeah. I've seen a few and it's really neat, you know, and they have a few trinkets and gear, but a lot of it's coming out of the computer and they just have this immense flexibility because it's almost like they're playing with Legos live and the Lego blocks are sound and they're just good at, right, like they know their library, they know their equipment, and they're in the vibe.
Right. You know, I love that. Yeah, layering the sounds.
Totally.
I love that. Like
some live recording and looping.
Right. That was the looping is a really cool
voice.
Effect.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That guy, he's in one of his like when he was on stage at a moment, he grabbed a group of people from the audience, was like, come up here and everyone harmoniously like say a tone, whatever. I was like, la, and awesome. He recorded it.
Yeah.
And then he like instantly dropped it in and put his music and like played that in and everyone. So then the audience was literally part of the music being, you know, coming out to them. You know, and it was just so rad to just, he was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Yeah. You know, I'm going to sample you and put you into my music. And
that's so cool, isn't it?
It's amazing. And it is this teetering balance of like this I like how you described it, being a DJ technology, but then being like a raw artist on spot and this like mesh of...
Yeah, and it's kind of just a new segment, you know? It's not like you don't have to play 5 instruments. Obviously you can't, you know?
Right.
And you can't make frog sounds. So...
Maybe.
Maybe. Depends on which drugs that you're not doing. You might channel a frog. No, but... on those lines, like For a while, I tried for a while. I'm just not that. I don't have that much. I didn't put that much effort into it, I should say. There's Ableton Live. I think I've mentioned it to you before. It actually looks a lot like this software we're using in terms of the timelines and stuff. But it also has like this, for lack of, it's a terrible term, spreadsheet to use and talking about art per se, but it does. It's just a bunch of rows and columns. It's a different view, the way you can look and organize the music, and it's called the session view, and it has all these clips, and that's why I use the Lego kind of concept, because there's musicality to all the clips, there can be, but you can launch them all, and there's little controllers and pads that represent physically the grid, and the grid can go on and on. They call them scenes, whatever. But you get the picture. You can digitally assemble this mass of all of your essentially XY coordinates of these sounds, and the better you get at putting that together and knowing it all and preparing it, et cetera, the better you can do with a lot of this stuff. And of course, you can do the live recording as well, because it's how, most people I know, it's how they make music, is using Ableton Live. By the way, real quick on a quick side tangent, I just posted an article on my website today, because the most common question I get asked is how to get started making music. And the reason I generally don't publish this kind of articles, I may do more in the future, but one of the reasons I actually decided to do it was because one day you told me, I think you were talking to me about kids, parents asking you, how do they become an artist? And you were like, dude, just pick up chalk and start drawing. You said something simple, right?
Yeah.
What do you remember what it was, like the scenario? It was, you were just kind of like, you are an artist as soon as you start to
exactly.
paint.
That's when people do ask. I'm like, if you're creating, you already are.
Right. So they were like, how could they be like you? Or the moms, dads were like, hey, how can my kid learn to be like you? You're like, dude, just start. So in the article, so more musically, I just posted this article, and I'm describing it now. Of course, you can go to the website, westsmith.com, and hit it, but it's a blog post on there right on the front. But I basically just put together, along those lines, I just put together a long list of like resources that I've used to learn about everything from super simple to getting more complex, but I sort of stopped it, assuming it's super simple article and audience. Maybe I'll get into some of the other stuff later, but it's a quick read, but it was for that purpose, to be like, my little opening sentence to it is like, to make music, just start. It doesn't have to get sold commercially or whatever, just go get, so anyway, there's a guideline there to kind of teach people how to learn to get going, like get that, just take your foot off the ground and put in 1 hour.
The key is to just
1
go.
Hour. Because the biggest thing for me is people, they'll be like, oh, can we just make this or that? I'm like, dude, you gotta like, whatever level you're at, if you're at zero, nobody that's made anything is really going to want to sit there and do that, So it's like, so I put all this together to be like, look, go click on the first link to Ableton Live 101, spend 1 hour. And after you do that, the other reason for the article is I'm almost purely confident, because some other people I've worked with have done this. Once you click the link once and go to the first 1 hour, for example, of Ableton Live, and you start making some music, the easy way that I've kind of shown people to go that path, you'll either like it or you won't. And then you're either going to go spend 10,000 more hours over the rest of your life doing it, or you're going to be like, screw that, I'm going to go skate.
Nice.
That's it.
That's it.
And you don't need the rest, right? Because that moment, you're the art. You're making music. You're an artist, and at that moment, you're going to decide you like it or you don't. Like, this is bullshit, or I'm gonna go skate.
I love that as the secondary option. I'm gonna go skate.
I love it. Yeah, whatever.
That's always the other option.
Yeah.
I'd always rather be skating. I don't know how you do. Not always, kind of. I don't know how you do this.
I still have the couch picture up there.
Really fast. Can I go real fast?
Totally.
How do you operate this? You just talk to yourself?
I guess people just stare at me.
You just talk to the wall?
I can tell them about something.
Talk
about some shit.
Okay.
Like, what would I talk about? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're on a bathroom break. So, if you missed the intro, I'll recap a couple of those little things. You can find my guest today is Autumn Hernandez. Art by Autumn is her handle on all the social media things and stuff like that. So you can definitely go check that out. Let's see. I'll cue this guy. I guess she got rid of that picture. And then, so Art by Autumn. Check it out on Instagram. She's based here in San Diego and Pacific Beach. Our studios are right next to each other. Good stuff. And We also mentioned Bloom. Good time to re-mention that. More related to me. Event for New Year's Eve here in San Diego. You can check out all the details at bloomnye.com. And it's Enter the Tech and Into Hoodie and Mindfruit putting that on. A whole bunch of awesome talent on there. They got some really cool graphics out and stuff. So go check all that out. Good stuff. What else did we hit that was kind of promoting things? The article I just pushed out for how to get yourself into learning to make music, electronic dance music, at westsmith.com. Check that out. And then, just hang out and stare at me and my bottle of tequila for a few minutes. We'll be back. I can hear the door. Unofficial sponsor, El Jimador. Let's see. What else did we get into? I just recapped all the intro stuff. So it totally worked.
Good.
It's 2 minutes. It's not the first time we've had a break, but that was good. It's the first time I've ever recapped the beginning of the show. How to find you, who you are.
I like it.
New Year's Eve party, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, it's
all
cool.
the essentials.
Yeah. So take a guess at how long we've been talking.
Oh my gosh. How long have we
Just
been
take a
talking?
guess.
50 minutes.
2 hours.
No! We've not been talking for 2 hours. Is that a joke?
No, it's one of my favorite things about doing this podcast is like when I tell people and they're like, get out.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, dude. I can see it. It's right at 2 hours.
How is that possible?
It's at 2 hours, yeah. And like, yeah.
No wonder these things go long.
They just get wild. They get crazy. I don't know. People got things to say. People keep jumping in and out. I told you, they just jump in and out the whole time. Today's weather is shit in San Diego, so I know that there's people that are like, I know for sure there's people that are like doing the Facebook at work. Ooh, I gotta turn that sound off. Yeah, they're just doing the Facebook thing at work. You know, you can see. Look, we got people chilling. Matty Ladd, shout out. What up, dude?
Oh, scroll up. Let me see.
You've seen Matt before. He was in here, a long, hippie-looking dude. The day I had the 4 guys in, I think that was one that you Variety Show bombed. You love bombed it.
I did love bomb him.
Yeah, that's up on the screen here. That's the little delay for us. That's why I have to turn the audio off. You'll get feedback. But yeah, see all that stuff? That's like people just jumping in and out. I can't keep up with it. Like,
have fun.
There's no way to keep up with it while it's going in and out. So, yeah, good stuff. We didn't plan to talk about anything, so not that it should be a surprise to anybody that's ever watched one of these that there is no plan here.
The plan is no plan.
I really try hard these days to grab some photos so that we have a little fun here. I'm gonna put that's a mug photo, but I didn't show this yet. Let me show this photo because I want to. Oh shit, there it is. I just want to show this photo. We talked a lot about the mugs earlier.
We did.
We just showed some live. But that's a collection of the bottoms.
Yes. All of them are unique.
All hand done.
All hand done. I actually have a current batch in my studio going. I have about 70 at the moment. I want to wait till I have 100 of them to pour all the resin and finish them. Because they're hand painted in resin, so it's nice to do them in a batch.
Especially because that Christmas rush, that holiday rush.
It's crazy already.
Sorry, the Kwanzaa rush.
Yeah, it's
whatever
great.
you're rushing
it's
to.
It's a beautiful rush, but there's no rush to love.
No, but there may be a holiday. Is there a discount? Any discounts? You don't do discounts. You're too awesome.
Well, honestly, the mugs are already priced at the lowest I can function at pricing them. So I don't do too much of a discount. However, when people buy paintings, I always give them a mug.
Oh, cool.
So if you buy a large painting, depending on what size, they'll give you a set of mugs to go with it.
Yeah.
Which is rad.
So everybody who's going on holiday, think real hard. If you're going to go somewhere else and your place is going to be vacant for a few days, hit her up and have her come paint some cool shit in there.
Yeah, I'll love, like my actual canvas paintings, I can do something like that on your wall.
Yeah.
Like a cool accent wall.
We'll get some good photos of mine one day after we do the party, after we do the reveal.
We'll
get some good photos. Well, it's good lighting for living. It's not great lighting for art.
I kept trying to get a good photo. I'm like, I can't, even if it's the sunniest part of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the living. I totally agree. It's perfect, but like accentuate the art on that counter. It was so hard to get a good like brightly lit photo of it.
And my concern was you actually just being able to paint it, but that came out awesome. So I did think about a few things in between, both for the mural, and I thought once it was done I would clarify or try some things. But I think I can do, because obviously I'm remodeling the whole space there in that space, and I think I could do something with some really cool LEDs. I'm pretty decent with LEDs. I think I could do some like directional stuff, like uplighting the whole ridge along the baseboard type thing, and the whole.
Wow.
Because I'm going to put a frame. Well, there's already the baseboard right at the bottom, but the top. The reason I left that unfinished was so you could do whatever, and then when you got done, I would see, and then I would frame it out basically.
Yeah.
So the end panel I may actually totally frame out, not like frame like a big picture frame, like wood trim, just something that finishes the edges. Because you got paint's little overflow onto the top sill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's always a plan to finish the top sill with wood. So I'm probably going to finish that like with some thin oak on the top between the columns, and then just run like a 3/8 or ½ inch piece of oak trim the whole length. So it'll just be a nice, and I can paint that or stain it. It'll just be a nice, won't subtract from anything. But my point in telling you about the trim and the baseboard is once that's done, you can get these super tiny little LEDs and just run them along the bottom. So you don't even see them unless they're on. Yeah. And then just power them and you're good to go.
That'd be cool.
So that's what I'm going to try to figure out by the time we do the reveal party. Yeah.
Love it.
Let me show this picture. Because you love skateboarding.
Yeah, I do.
And like we've busted a lot about your art and how you are inspired and love and make money too. And nothing wrong with any of that. It's all awesome. But you love skating.
Yeah,
so I'm throwing that picture up there.
Skating's my bliss.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. It's my definitely one of my top 3 favorite things in life to do is skateboarding. And shortboard, longboard. I just recently, in the past couple months, started freestyle skating. That's my freestyle board.
Okay.
That's actually a custom deck made by Open Source Skateboards. So shout out to them. They're a really cool local company that custom makes
San
boards.
Diego local.
San Diego local. My favorite. And so that they made the deck for me, and then I painted it and set up. That was my first board I ever set up entirely made, put the grip tape on, screwed the holes in, put the whole thing. And so that's a different board where I do skateboard tricks on it where it's in Primo, where it's like in a rail stand. So instead of the skateboard on 4 wheels, it's just on 2.
That's called in Primo?
In Primo.
Okay.
And it's a kind of freestyle skateboarding. So that's a whole nother, it's like a whole nother beast. It's a whole nother operation than my longboard. Yeah.
Totally. And we'll bring in the mini boards as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't bring it today. I didn't bring it today. Don't talk
mine.
about it.
Oh, okay.
We'll do it some other day. Got it. We'll totally big up your friend that does that stuff. It's awesome. They can actually go look at it. What's the website? You know his website?
It's all open source.
But he has a website where he directs people to, or it's his, and then he has links to shit?
It's open source.
You know the website name?
Or open source skateboards.com, I believe.
Yeah.
Can I confirm that real fast?
Go
I think
for
it's open
So
source
basically,
skateboards.
I'll describe it while you're looking for that. So basically, to anybody watching or listening later, you can, this friend of hers has figured out, what's his name?
It's Bo.
Bo. So he's into skating as well, and he's also genius dude, and so
he's incredible.
He's found and created like 3D, like schematics or whatever the file format is, so that you can go with a 3D printer and print parts to create skateboards. And so I assume you could do them at all different sizes if you wanted, but the ones I got were small.
Yeah.
It's just a scaling issue, but he was selling them as like toys one day. And I didn't bring it, but
so
they'll go sweet with my little miniature cabana and pool.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
It's opensourceboards.com.
Okay, cool.
I don't know why I can never remember that,
All
but
right.
open source board. And you can also create your own actual custom skateboard on there, too.
Yeah,
You
so
want
you can do your own.
wooden, to actual skate. Like you can carve out your own shape. Have this
so
all of it.
open source. So I'm clear.
Open
It's
source boards.com.
Bo's the dude. Super cool. Like if you're into doing gifts and stocking stuffers and whatever,
Right?
like super cool little kit thing. Anyone can build them. It comes with its own little wrench for the tiny ass trucks, and the wheels spin. It's so dope. Like you basically get what would effectively be a DIY, person-sized board, but it's just miniature. Like mine was like 5 inches long, and everything works. So if you have a squirrel for a pet or something, like I guess you could let him ride it, or put one on each foot. I don't know what you do with it, but they're just cool. Tons of thought went into it. Little lock nuts, little wrenches, little tools, everything. But you talk about a dope holiday gift for somebody.
Right? Stocking stuffer?
Yeah, whether they're into skating or not, it's just cool. It's fun.
Exactly.
Put your logo on it if you want to. Don't skate, whatever. Just do something fun with it. Take pictures with all your little, your doll collection you haven't come out of the closet about yet, like mine.
Oh, you've come out of the closet with your belongings.
Yeah,
you're not hiding anything around here.
I got the geishas. I got a little something for everybody in here.
You do.
Different ethnicities.
A mini
different
Converse
shapes
over there.
Yeah. I'm like all body types. We got all kinds of stuff going on in here. Aliens, robots, characters.
You don't have to be a Victoria's Secret model to be in here?
You don't. Yeah. Oh, I forgot that stuff sitting over there. Well, that's cool. But so skating, like, you skate almost daily probably.
Yeah.
If it's not raining. Skate in the water.
And
that sucks.
Even if I'm not skating for just the skate of fun and joy and love, I use it as transportation as well.
What's the skateboard community like in San Diego?
The skateboard community. Well, from my personal experience, there's a couple of like meetup groups. There's specifically a meetup group every Sunday that's called the Dock Sesh, San Diego Dock Session, which they meet. Usually it's in Mission Beach. It used to be in Liberty Station, but now they put up like the ice skating rink there. Okay. So every Sunday, it's just an open group that comes. Sometimes like ice
skating rink in San Diego.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Love it. Seasonal, folks. Seasonal.
Liberty State, yeah, totally seasonal. And then during the summertime, there's a Taco Tuesday skate sesh that meets up on, Tuesdays and skates down from Pacific Beach to Mission and back and goes and eats together. So that group, when it started, I mean, there could be 5 people. One time it was someone's birthday and there was like 60 people that went and skated together, which was crazy. Wow. But sadly, the skate world, it's hard, like just to have like a skate shop, like the local one, Adrenaline.
Yeah, Soul Grind, is that still around?
Soul Grind's here, which is good. They moved down to Cass, but then the one in Bird Rock, they just closed, which is really sad. That was my like jam, Adrenalina. Mirror Skate, they closed, opened back up. I don't really know what's going on with them, to be honest, but it's a tough industry to run, have
yeah.
But in terms of actual skateboarding, people love skating, but now you can go into Ralph's and buy a skateboard.
Right.
So it's really
Amazon,
accessible
whatever.
to anyone. Yeah.
Daddies, all those sites.
Right.
And they get pretty customized too, even though it's not the same as having someone
Totally.
build one for you. But you can do a lot of like that first board I had, the one you saw with the low trucks, that dips down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got that one from I think it's daddies.com or something, skateboard, daddy skateboards or whatever. There was 20 choices I could make about it. Wheels, trucks, height, this, that, tightness, all this stuff, and then they put it together and ship it out. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough to compete with that when they're doing it in a warehouse in Arkansas,
exactly,
and shipping it over here.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I guess surf shops kind of took a little bit of the same hit. But it's kind of interesting because we have a lot of surf shops, but for some reason, the clothing around surf culture is way more popular than the clothing around skate culture, I think.
Yes.
Yeah? And somehow that happened. I don't know how that happened. Because that's how they survive. Watches, all that shit.
Yeah, I feel like it's, and I don't know, this is just coming out of me in this moment, but surf is more beachy related.
That's true.
So I think that's part of it. Is
the
surf
concentration.
Includes, the ocean aspect and what you're going to wear at the beach and beach accessories and all of that, as opposed to skating isn't just anchored into the ocean. I mean, here we're blessed to be able to skate on the boardwalk with the ocean. Yeah. But that's not, skate culture isn't ocean.
Right. Well, and skating has never had, it's not, I was going to say has never had as many sort of crossover, popular, iconic people. I'm not so sure that's true because like the Tony Hawks equal the Kelly Slaters of surfing, right? So there are. I mean, if there's a skater that's a Kelly Slater, it's Tony Hawk, right? I mean,
Right.
no one else has been in
Right.
eight Smash video games and have their own game. I think Kelly probably has a Kelly Slater Pro Surfer game out or something too. But but anyway, right? Like I don't know who else would be. It's like there's only one in each category. It's not like there's 10 Slaters that are out there have crossed over from just surfing into watches and
right.
what cars, whatever it is they're
Right.
endorsing if they like it, right? So I was going to say, my point was going to be that was maybe the issue, just the popularity of the two sports, but that's not necessarily it. I think maybe you're right. It's just, you're not going to have a surf shop in Idaho. So the reason why here the surf shops are making it is because we're at the beach.
We're at the beach. It's practical.
So it totally makes sense.
Practical.
All the other shit they have in there is going to apply to people that don't surf and everything else.
But are at the beach.
And in some cases, even some skate stuff in there. Certainly the clothing crosses over. Like you'll see Element. I think Element came out of the skate world, right? That brand.
Yes.
Pretty hardcore, like skate origins. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, like someone would say, like, Billabong, clearly a surf brand originally. Now it's crossed over. So Element clearly was skate, and then it is my recollection. Yeah, so you just don't have as many of those. That makes sense. And we're in California, which is the epicenter of surf culture.
Exactly.
Like, not just being a stupid American, it is actually the epicenter of surf culture worldwide.
It is.
It's where it all, other than Hawaii, the original of the sport. But I would say it's safe to say the commercialization of surfing culture is definitely a Southern California thing. And California.
Definitely.
Yeah, all the documentaries you see, all the old stuff, it's all like Malibu and
West Coast.
blah, blah, blah. And back and forth to Hawaii. Yeah, there's a lot of surfing. Well, there's some surfing going on in Baja when I was down there, but surprisingly not that much. No? It was really weird. Yeah, it's kind of strange. Because like same day out here, there'll be 200 people. Like same day down there, 5 max. I had a blast.
Wow, yeah, that's a surfer's dream.
Yeah, it was a blast,
To share the waves.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you could share them, but every wave, a party wave, same 5 people, just get worn out in 2 hours. Go eat lunch. Out here, it's like you gotta gear up for the shift,
right?
And be ready, Because I'm living like 2 blocks from Tourmaline, so you can go out I go have coffee out there sometimes, crack of dawn. There's already 30 people out, It was very interesting, yeah. But obviously, it's 2 hours down there, and you got to be there,
right?
To be in. I guess it's just part of the glory for the effort and the travel. I almost thought we didn't take this picture down of the couch, but we did.
We took the couch
Let's see what
down.
else we got. Let's see what else we got here.
Oh,
this is more painting. This is your studio.
The love studio with the love bike
and the child bike. I'm gonna call it love bike.
8-year-old. I have to just quickly make a comment. When I went in to get you that coffee, there was this beautiful group of like elderly women. They're like, "Oh, your hearts, you that," and then they're walking outside, and then they saw me get on the bike, and they're like, "That is the," they just freaked out about it. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's size for an 8-year-old, but I'm an 8-year-old at heart." And the oldest, the lady goes, "So am I." I was just like, "We are one and the same."
It's like something my mom would say.
Right, and it just made me be like, "Oh yeah, like we're always that same." I believe there's a child inside of all of us. I like to call it the kid in the control room.
Got to remind ourselves of that one.
And we have to feed that kid and allow it permission to speak and do the things and listen to it and be curious. And so many people get caught in the mind and being an adult, they forget that little kid inside of them. So like even just riding that bike, I'm giving that kid permission to play.
Yeah.
And I think that's essential to
the adult Autumn is given the kid Autumn.
I call her Boss Hernandez. And then there's Autumn Love, who's the 8-year-old, right?
Now we're going into the multi-personality portion of the show.
Totally.
Kid psycho, folks.
So Boss Hernandez keeps me in line, but then Autumn Love wants to play. And it has to be a beautiful balance. You have to be balanced out. And I think people get so stressed and caught in their mind because they're not listening to that kid inside of them that just wants to come out and play.
Yeah.
Wants to go out and skate.
Yeah.
Wants to go out and talk.
Yeah.
Wants to go out and hug somebody and tell them they're beautiful.
And paint the bottom of mugs.
Paint some mugs, right?
So on that note, anything else on skating?
I love skating.
This is why this takes 3 hours.
I thought it was 50 minutes in.
So it was a pretty good community there in San Diego.
Oh yeah,
that was the original question. You described a lot.
Was my own experience.
Somehow I derailed you with the clothing business.
Doesn't really matter.
It doesn't. Yeah, so it's a good community. That's cool. I didn't know that much of it was around. It's good. There's a little something. All that shit's here in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer was yes.
Yes.
We could have saved people like 25 minutes of their life. Yes. Here's a couple groups. Move on. No way. I listen to a lot of podcasts. You listen to many podcasts?
Not too many.
Technically, this is not a podcast yet. Like, in theory, this is just like live streaming the video, right? So the word has been, and we had a whole episode dedicated to this, like way back, about half the episode. And in theory, like the podcast itself is like an actual technical thing. Like it's done with an RSS feed, which is called like real simple syndication. And so basically it's been around forever. Well, not forever, but a very long time. And so in the origins of the iPod, like the super way pre-iPhone, way back in the day, the first iPod, they just, Apple being all they did was when they started to have apps in the iTunes store like a gazillion years ago, all they did was had a section in there where you could add an RSS feed to iTunes. So everyone just thought that like Apple was offering this like awesome this service that's Apple with all these cool programming. And at the time it was many less, and so it got called podcasts because you could sync them to your iPod. And I'm pretty sure we talked about the history before with way more detail, but the research and looking, that was the assumption we came up with, was that's why they became called podcasts, not because of any real technical reason.
Right.
So today, somehow people, I guess it's easier than saying live streaming, people will just say, oh yeah, I'm podcasting. But you can't really do a live podcast. And I don't think people understand that. It's not possible. Because the feed doesn't work like that. So, so what'll happen is we're live streaming, of course, and then in video. And after that's done, I'll take the video that'll go to YouTube and Facebook automatically. That's live. And we don't edit any of that. And then afterward, I'll download one of them. I also record at the same time. That's why I use this crazy software. And then I'll just take the audio only, and I'll post that audio in a post on my website. And then it goes through that RSS and becomes a podcast.
And then it becomes a podcast.
That's the moment where it becomes the podcast, is once people can hit the RSS feed and get that. The super cool thing about it, with my tech head, I think it's super cool, but I don't think a lot of people know it, so that's why I'm describing it, is that one of the reasons it became so popular was because there's zero ownership of an RSS feed by anybody else. Nobody controls it, except for the person that published it. So my RSS feed has no security, no nothing. And it's free to everybody. Anybody in the world, any country, anywhere that has internet and knows that RSS feed link, it's just like a URL. Yeah. It's not readable by anything but a feed reader. Yeah. They can get it. And it's free. No permissions. I don't get to know who they are. Nothing. Which is awesome. And that's I like to mention it because that was the premise of the internet. Was this truly open, free, unidentifiable source of information. And that's been changed in many cases for the better. In many cases for the better. Keeps people from stealing people's credit cards, and there's a way to get a refund if someone jacks your shit at Amazon, right? Yeah, that's cool. But that original premise, the RSS feed, is one of those examples where you can still see that ability today. So you get some of these podcast services that are trying to like own the RSS feeds. Like they're basically making deals with very popular podcasters to make the content exclusive, which drives me crazy. It drives me up the wall. Because it's taking it and making it this thing that
not
people can't get.
Right.
And they're doing it because what's happened is where all the podcasting originally was like just people sharing knowledge, right? And so a lot of the original creators, they thought, okay, well, I am an expert in whatever, computer servers, and I'm an expert in making music. And they would do the podcast episode and share it, video or audio only, And then there was just this community of folks that felt like, all right, well, I'm sharing my knowledge of audio, but I'm going to learn some programming computers from this other dude or lady. So it's a share. It's this big thing, right? Anyway, it was all ad hoc, like super ad hoc like this, which is why I like doing it this way.
Yeah.
Also inspired by like Joe Rogan's podcast, who by design or not, just does it completely like ad hoc for the most part as well. And I really like that because that's kind of like the OG podcast style.
Right.
You know? The problem is when people realized that zillions of people were on the RSS feeds with their iPods and phones and that explosion. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was then like the CNNs of the world got into it and said, oh, we can reach 10 million people that are listening to the freewheeling people giving away their content. We can reach them too by publishing our RSS feed in the Apple Store, and people will find it, and they do, and then they're getting it. But then they said, well, we've got a $1 million a year budget for the studio to produce the CNN show, so we have to start charging. That's where it changed, and it's okay either way. Like I'm cool with it because that's why you hear ads and all that stuff.
Right.
If someone was going to pay me a bunch of money to do this show, I'd take it if it was the right deal. Like you would like your art in the shops. Right. You're talking about the mugs. Right. Like I'm not opposed to that at all.
Right.
At all. The way I just whether you wanted to hear it or not, you just got the 10-minute, 5-minute explanation of kind of what started out as this, as many things do, right? This super open, community-based trading barter system, and then it's evolved in different ways. And there's people that do it both ways, and there's people that are making $1 million a year giving it away, but they put those lead-ins, like, hey, everybody, I love Vans sneakers, and
right,
and I really do,
right.
Like I do. So I would have no problem if Vans wanted to cut me off some cheddar. I would talk about Vans shoes all damn day.
That's one of my dreams. I want to be sponsored by Vans so bad.
It's cool.
But you saying all that made me think about love and what you're saying.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
And per usual. And I want love to just be this open, expansive thing as well.
Yeah.
Like I never want it to be something that someone's cut off from either.
Yeah.
Like just overlapping just the concept of like accessible and visible and free and anyone can tap into it. I mean, that's the essence of love. If it's not free, it's not love.
Yeah, totally.
It's not.
Yeah. It's slightly tainted.
What's tainted? Love's tainted.
If it's not free. No, only the song Tainted
correct,
Love.
Correct, right.
I don't know what those crazy fools meant when they sang that song. You want to get your head wrapped around some lyrics. There's not many lyrics in it, but go ahead and listen to that one. Go out there and try it. I should do an edit of that one.
Wow.
Anyway, I almost ran off everybody that was probably watching or listening when I went on my podcast tangent. They're like, dude, the comment I just looked at, someone's like, learn them, Wes. They're probably like, dude, go back to the girl that's talking about love, man.
Love.
We don't want this technology shit, man. We can go Google that.
We need a balance.
But you can't Google the Wes
live
Smith version of it. Sweet.
Love is the answer.
I was getting rid of that photo.
Good.
We made it through all the photos.
Done.
Love is the answer.
To everything.
I mean, not that we had to stop there. The only thing I didn't interject on the skate thing was how fun was that Tony Hawk exhibition?
That was so rad. That was so good. It's so inspiring to see people just doing their thing and doing what they love.
How does that dude do that? And Kelly Slater at that age.
I think it's just never stop. Whatever it is that you love, just don't stop doing it and you'll always be able to do it. Like I meet people that are like, oh, I can't skate, I'm too old. No, you decided you're too old.
Yeah.
And so you place that limit in your being. But you just keep doing the thing, you'll just keep doing it.
Look at this.
Don't let that be your story.
Yeah, look at this real quick. Born in 68. So what does that make him? 51?
Wow. Yeah, because
how are you doing that shit? I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, I'm not at their age yet, but I'm rolling that way.
Right. And on his 50th birthday, he did 50 tricks.
Really?
Yeah. Which was just incredible. I mean, to be 50 and still doing it, I want to be doing that.
We're going to end this on a positive note with these two dudes because we're inspired by these two dudes
totally
immensely.
Inspired.
If there's a lady you're inspired by, we bring them up too. These are just two that I happen to know. But Kelly Slater, so he's a little younger by 2 years, 3 years, but still, he's 47, 48. whatever, 50. And, he still competes professionally on the ASB tour. Not like exhibition shit.
Age
Like,
is nothing.
people are still afraid when he's in a heat.
I think people have this assigned feeling like, oh, I'm this old, I can't do this thing, I'm too old for that, and we just like make up these stories and then live by them. When in fact, that doesn't have to be.
At
you
all.
can be any age doing anything. And you asked me if I had a woman.
Yes.
No.
A female figure that.
No one to look up. No.
Trumps.
No physical thing.
Okay.
But I just like one of my most inspiring, just one of my biggest like role models. My whole life has been Mother Teresa.
Oh.
And to the day she died, she kept giving and loving and serving all life forms.
Amazing. That's a good one.
I mean, I relate so strongly to her.
I see the connection. The light has
she
come on for me now.
She was also a Virgo.
Oh, boy.
It might be her reincarnated.
Do your eyes get so big when you get one of those exciting things?
I do get excited.
That's crazy.
She was just about love.
Yeah.
Leave no one behind. I don't care what your story is, what you did, what you went through. You deserve love. You're alive.
Yeah.
That's it. We need nothing more. I don't need to know you. I'm just here to serve, and I feel very aligned with that.
I love it.
Love doesn't discriminate against anyone or anything.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, cool. Thanks for listening to me talk about my shaver, the head shaver in the beginning. I could have done that when you went to the bathroom.
Yes, be efficient.
But I know we've been talking about this so long. Episode 69, the love episode. Yeah!
Love!
And it's funny because most people I don't see that often that come in here and hang out. I see you a lot.
Yeah.
And it's super cool though still having you come do this. Hopefully I know a bunch of people listen to it, and will later. Mm-hmm. It's fun stuff. Go buy some of Autumn's stuff. It's cool. It's not the point of today, but go support love in any way. I'm telling you to go buy some stuff. She's not, but whatever.
Go give someone a hug.
Go visit her website.
That'll be my order to the world: is go give someone a hug.
Yeah. I'll be the bad business guy.
Someone's got to
place some orders.
Someone's got to do it for me.
And I don't have any money in it yet, but I'm trying to get there before those Shark Tank freaks do, because then I'll be out. I'll be priced out. But anyway. Nah, totally awesome, and it's like funny ending the show with you because like we don't like have anywhere to go, and like you're right there, so it's not like we could just do this on any given day.
I know,
but we don't, and so I guess we'll just say stay classy, yo, and you have any other thoughts to wrap it up?
I'm just grateful to be here.
It's awesome.
Thank you for being here, and grateful for technology.
Sweet.
To make it possible to, share love and good energy with the world.
I love it.
And just be love.
You're an amazing person, amazing artist.
Thanks, love.
Everybody take note. We're talking again. We're going skate deep dives, other crazy shit. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Stay classy, yo.